program. The White House continues to defend its trade of a Russian arms dealer for basketball player Brittany Griner while leaving behind former Marine Paul Whelan, who's been in a Russian prison for 4 years. Whelan's brother David calls the swap stupid and unpatriotic.
Doing something to bring them home is a good first step. And if the people who are in power in Congress or in the agencies and the U.S. government don't like that, then they should come up with ways to fix it.
Paul Whelan is serving a 16-year sentence on espionage charges. America is listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time.
What's going on now? Can you hear me pretty good? Non-lethal. Can you hear me pretty good, sis? I know a lot of people are trying to figure out like what is going on, but yeah, it's like a surprise live. Well, I posted on my Instagram that I was going to be going live, but didn't know if you guys can hear me. So how I think so there's a way, like if when you play things from YouTube from here, the listening audience in Bloomington can hear it, right? Sweet. Because that's why I think that's what we did. We brought up my channel, and whenever the people that were on my panel were talking, everybody in Bloomington was able to hear. Yeah, because last time I was sitting there trying to put this microphone in this so people in Bloomington can hear. But I'm like, and then when Kat did that, I was like, oh, well, we've been doing this all this time. What the world? All right, folks, appreciate y'all all being in here. I am going to be putting a link up here early, and you guys will be able to join the panel like we did the last time. And I'm getting ready to post it right now. Okay, so here we go. Any of you that want to jump on the panel, I'm letting you know right now on the radio, just try there, no cussing. We get hit with fines if you guys cuss, okay? So there's the link right there. And again, I do want you guys to join on the panel. I can have up to 10 of you guys on here at one time. The audience that's listening here in Central Illinois will be able to hear you guys. So I just wanted to let y'all know that, okay? Does the volume sound okay? Does it sound real airy, or does it sound pretty good and clear to you guys? Because we are going to be popping off here in a little bit. Going to be talking about some stuff that you guys all probably heard. You guys all heard, the Brittany Griner situation, et cetera, et cetera. And then another thing is that, the whole deal about these marriages. And I might have Kev join me on this because he's a younger guy and see what he thinks about some of this. Because some of this stuff, guys, y'all heard us talking about this on the panel. I mean, we talked all the way to darn near 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. And my mind is just, I just can't believe some of the stuff I was hearing from some of the young men. They have a different world than what I came up in. And it was just surprising. So, but once we start the radio and all that good stuff, you guys are going to be able to hear me talk about this. I'm not going to get into too much of it right now, but you guys will know. Snuggles, the link is right here. All right, I see you in the background, Chris. Chris, can you give me a peace sign? All right, I see you in the background there, Chris. And once we get going on the radio, I'll be able to pull you in on some of these topics here. So again, remember, folks, if y'all gonna chime in, no cussing. We're gonna be getting hit with fines and all that. So if you're trolling here at the radio station, we got an IT tech person that can sit there and pull down your IP address, and you will be sent something to get you fined.
We're speaking with Howard from the Door Doctor on why he advertises with Great Plains Media on a weekly basis. I have people.
Somebody said it sounds good in Ohio. Okay, cool beans. So me talking in this volume that I'm talking in right now, that sounds pretty good to you guys.
Start growing your business at GreatPlainsMedia.com. From the John's in Lexington studio, John believes in helping other local businesses grow, like OB.
I'm doing good, Sean. Appreciate it. Alexandria, you can join the panel too, sis. We getting ready to get going.
Great Plains Media, its affiliates, or its employees. They can't cancel him or Cities 92.9. It's cancel this
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here, area code 309-451-9299, and you can text the show at 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio here, go onto YouTube and type in Modern Renaissance Man. You will see a thumbnail of me sitting in a dark studio area with the lights looking all damn nice and red. And when you click on that thumbnail, you will be able to come and join me live here on the radio station. And you will be able to actually chime in and talk with me, and I will be able to talk with you, ladies and gentlemen. And if you do come onto the radio live via YouTube, make sure you know the rules. There is to be no swearing, no cursing. Black folks, no cussing. So anyway, got that all out the way. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Again, I'm Ty Smith, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. So to get things started off here right now, ladies and gentlemen, there has been a lot of things that I've been involved with lately that some of these things have completely kind of shook me up a little bit, in a sense that I cannot believe some of the things that a lot of the young people are facing today when it comes to marriage and relationships, when it comes to their mental health, when it just comes to their overall well-being. And it was quite surprising, some of the things that they told me about. And also, you guys all know they let that 6'8" man out of jail in Russia. And there are a lot of people are completely ticked off. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on this. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Brett Griner. I mean, what's his Brett, right? Brett Griner, Brett, something like that. Some of y'all know him getting that. Brittany Griner got let out of the Russian prison while a Marine was left behind, because apparently if you're LGBTQ and you're black, you are far more important than somebody that actually cares for their country. That was an awesome trade-off. You know what I mean? I think the Biden administration did an excellent job putting priorities first. I mean, you have a person that hates this country. They took a knee. They talk really bad about America. They did something illegal in another country. That's the person that represents America. That's the person that we want to have come back. That's the person that we need to have come back. Safety. That is our priority. And we're going to up the ante by trading that person in for one of the most deadly arms dealing merchants known to man. Now, some people kind of gave some pushback and said, well, he was doomed to be released from prison in somewhere around 2027 or something like that of sort. What does that have to do with anything about us trading? I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists. This person is a well-known terrorist dealing arms, AK-47s, and people being trained like to the utmost prestigious ways in the military styles on how to delete people. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are listening here on Cities 92.9 via the radio, the reason why you may hear me say delete is because I'm also tuning in and I'm broadcasting all over the world on YouTube. And you have to use words like delete, because if you do not use the word like delete and you say the word KILL or KILLING or MURDER, YouTube AI will automatically put a flag on your channel to make people that want to watch my video click through several consents that they want to watch what I'm talking about right now. So again, if you hear me say the word delete, that means somebody, yeah. So anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this man that they traded wants to delete many Americans. What do you think is going to happen when this man goes back to Russia? What do you think? This man's been sitting in prison for all this time, waiting, right? He's going to go back doing what he's been known to do. He's not going to go back. Oh, so now I'm from Russia. Now I get to go back to my home. And once I get back to my home, I'm going to retire and sit back and let the ladies feed grapes to my mouth while I sit back and enjoy all of it. Bloom. Yeah, right. He's going to go back completely ticked off at the USA. And I'm telling you right now, you can mark my words, Ukraine is about to get their heads combed. Trust me when I tell you, it's going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. And on top of that, I wonder how the families that are over in Afghanistan who got left behind, I wonder how they're feeling. I wonder what they feel about this. Who's more important in this scenario? Brittany Griner or the people that were over there for years, ladies and gentlemen, they were over there for years in Afghanistan doing what we are supposed to be doing as far as protecting this country, and they abruptly got left behind. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the phone number here is area code 309-451-9299. You can also text the show at 309-451-9299. Tune in and see me live in the studio where I can interact with you and you interact with me via the internet on YouTube. Type in Modern Renaissance Man. When you type it in, you will see me live in the studio. And I do have someone that's here right now that's tuning in via the internet. His name is Chris.
Hi.
Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I like your YouTube channel.
Appreciate it. What do you think about Brittany Griner being let out of prison?
I do watch World News Tonight, but I don't know that one yet. I like to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear it?
It depends on what you're about to tell me.
It's about my day program. I don't know if you know anything about a day program.
Go ahead.
I was in the day program called Parasitic, and during COVID, you know, everybody now is wearing the mask to be protective, and during COVID they didn't let us do anything, and Mara left Lorena in charge, and I think, how can you be this stupid to leave Lorena in charge of something like this? And Lorena treat me like a kindergarten, and we did coloring. We didn't do no activity, so I didn't feel like I was learning anything.
So let me ask you, I mean, because I'm just being honest with you, from looking at you, you seem like you're Asian.
Yeah.
Are you in America?
Yeah.
And during COVID, you didn't learn anything, you're saying?
I didn't learn anything from because Mara and Lorena were total idiots, and they didn't teach me anything. In the beginning they did, but they didn't take us on field trips, and they didn't let us make a sandwich. And I was thinking about talking about this on YouTube for some time, because, you know, they didn't treat me that good. And I look at the other school, like high school, they treat me good, but Principals is garbage.
I see. So you have a YouTube channel called Daytime?
I have a YouTube channel of my own, and I do like ABC promos.
Oh, ABC promos. Okay, well, I'll let everybody know. So everybody, that was Chris, and Chris has a daytime channel called, I forget what he just said, but y'all will be able to play this video back and play the audio back from this. Chris, I appreciate you calling in and letting us know the things that were going on with you. Shout out to the caller for that, ladies and gentlemen. So back to what I was saying is that there is this deal where a lot of people in America right now are upset about Brittany Griner being let out. And there are some people that felt that there was no big deal with this. And I do see that we have somebody in the background as well that's waiting on the call right here. Biddy, I see you in the background, but if you do not mind, Biddy, just temporarily, I would need you to show your face and give me the peace sign so I know that you are a real person, not a bot, not a troll. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't feel that everybody is divided when it came to Brittany Griner. A lot of people, especially because I know they're trying to pander, let's just be real, they're trying to pander to the black community to show that they really care about the blacks and they're making it a priority. And oh, look at the Democrats, look what they're doing. Look here, we have to get this black woman out of state. We're showing you guys that we care more about you guys than the other ones. We putting you guys and we making you guys a priority. But what they're not showing you guys is that there are people that they're asking that's from the black community what they feel about this. Over 80% of the blacks completely disagreed with Brittany Griner being let out like this. Completely disagreed. But the mainstream media is not going to show you that. They're only going to show you folks that celebrated it, her getting out. So this is what makes me really just about this, because you guys know a little bit about me and how I grew up. To the listening audience out there, Cities 92.9, and to the listening audience on YouTube, I told you guys about the areas that I grew up in, right? We call it the hood, we call it the ghetto, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, we always had these things that happened where someone did a crime and they went to jail or prison, and although they committed this crime, went to jail, went to prison, got convicted, legit in jail now, while they're in there, I couldn't for the life of me try to figure out why is it that we praise them in there. But I'm gonna get right back to that, and you guys are gonna find this out here in a second. You listen to Cities 92.9 and Dudes Talk of Bloomington Normal. All right, folks, we are on a commercial break right now, and give me a second here. I do see you in the back there, Biddy. Again, if you guys want to come on here, here is the link to join me here to talk about this situation right here. All right, y'all. You guys that are listening right now, again, I am live in the studio, and anybody that wants to come on, Roscoe, I see you in the background. You can jump on if you want to, Roscoe, and come to the panel. And I'll read off some of you guys' comments too here as well while we go through this. Petty Grimes, if you are on the internet right now, Petty Grimes, you said, how do you call in? The phone number here is 309-451-9299. But Petty Grimes, you can come on a panel and to be more like a live discussion. Prime time. I see you in the background there, sir. I see you there. And so Petty Grimes, the link is right here that I'm going to give you. And again, when you come on, just a reminder to everybody, we are in a radio station broadcasting here in Central Illinois. So remember, no cussing, and try your best. If we talking about anything that have to do with what they call the KILLING word, we use the word deleted because YouTube picks up on that. And depends on the conversation as well. If we're going to be talking about a certain community, we call it Transformers or Decepticons, because y'all know YouTube, if you mention the other way around, all of a sudden the AI is going to pick up and this video can be demonetized or something like that for being that word phobic. Optimus Prime phobic, I guess you want to call it. What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is area code 309-451-9299, or you can text the show at 309-451-9299. And if you are wanting to tune in via the internet, go onto YouTube, type in Modern Renaissance Man. You will see a thumbnail of me being live in the studio. Click on the thumbnail. I can interact with you. You can interact with me. You can join the panel and let your voice be heard across Central Illinois. So while we took the break, I was still talking about Brittany Griner, and I was making a reference to me growing up in the ghetto, in the hood, in the projects, and I was letting you guys know how it's this crazy phenomenon that happened in the hood where if somebody went to prison or went to jail, when they got out, it was this celebration. People coming together and barbecuing, they're throwing parties, and even while the person is in jail, there were people just out in the street every now and then wearing t-shirts, and they're pouring out a little liquor, talking about free my ninja, free my ninja. If you guys don't know what ninja means, that's pretty much the word for the N-word. Yeah, I'm just letting y'all know that to the listening audience. They will say things like that all the time. Free my ninja, free my ninja. This person went to jail for possibly robbing somebody, attempted murder, beating a woman, selling drugs, destroying the neighborhood by doing so. And when they go to jail, we celebrate the criminals getting out of jail. So all I'm saying that for is that I told people that this, to me, they're giving black people exactly what I feel that they felt black people really like. Huh? Because Brittany Griner gets let out of prison and people are celebrating that. Yeah, you heard me. She's being let out of prison and she's all over the news like she's some hero. What did she do? She did something illegal in another country that she knew was illegal. But just because it's not illegal in America does not mean it's not illegal in another country. She does something illegal. And here we are trying to free a criminal. It's the same exact thing they do in the hood. Free my ninja, free my brother, free my sister. Free them. They did something criminal. So here it is. Brittany Griner's getting let out. She's all over all kind of different news stations. They're celebrating the criminal getting out of jail. Same scenario like in the hood. Let's go ahead and throw a barbecue. Call all the homies and the G's. Call all the family members. Call great aunties and all that. We're going to all get together and have a big old barbecue. Who bringing the potato salad? Because Brittany Griner just got out of jail. She's out of prison. Let's celebrate that, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to bring on somebody here that has a call, and I'm going to get to them. And we have first up here, we have Biddy Boo. Biddy Boo, how are you doing?
I'm good, Ty. How are you?
I'm always good, sis. What would you like to add to this?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for all you do. And a lot of us here in Oklahoma love you.
Appreciate that. Love. Peace. Shout out to Oklahoma.
My deal is on the Brittany Griner thing.
Shout out to Oklahoma.
All right, we have a soldier over there that loved our country, fought for our flag, fought for our country, but yet he's still in prison, and they get this woman. I hope it's a woman. Anyway, they get her out knowing that she has done things that are illegal, and she confessed that she did it, but yet they get her and leave him there. That is so wrong.
I completely agree, and that's just goes to show you like where how our current system is messed up right now. And I completely agree, and that's just goes to show you. Like,
I feel that the only reason that this was done was so our so-called leader can get the votes that he is aiming for in the next election.
Yep. Do you think that he's going to try to run again?
Yeah, because he's that stupid.
Well, Miss Biddy Boo, if you want to, you can stay on the panel here. I'm going to drop you off in the room. I'm bringing another caller, or if you want to sign off, that's completely up to you. What would you like to do?
Oh, I'll be here. If you want to bring me in on anything else, I'll be glad to speak.
All right, will do. All right. Well, I appreciate you, sis. So since you're going to stay on, I'm going to just drop you down. I'll still be able to see you in the background. You'll still be here.
Hon.
Another caller. So appreciate you, sis. All right, shout out again to Miss Biddy from Oklahoma, who added her words in it with the Brittany Griner situation. We're going to bring in another caller here, somebody I'm familiar with, Mr. Primetime. How we doing, sir?
How's it going, man?
Doing
nice
good. Doing good.
Nice studio setup, man. Really like that. As far as the Brittany Griner, man, bro, disgrace is not even a word for it, bro. It's like not only is it a disgrace for this country, the term morals and standards don't even have a meaning no more at this point. That's how bad it is, because I don't have to explain the trade. We already know how bad the trade was. I'm more upset at the people that are celebrating more than she's being released. It's just sad, bro. You made a really good point with the whole, if somebody goes to jail in our community, they celebrating that. They do that more than the college educated people that get degrees, graduation, everything. They celebrate that mainly because they didn't tell. Especially if they didn't tell in jail, they keep it silent. We celebrate that from Black people. Don't tell more than degrees from Black people.
That's interesting that you just made that point, Primetime, because from where I came from, out of the hood that I came out of, I'm the only one out of hundreds of us that went off to college, right? I go off to school, man. I graduated. I let everybody, when I graduated, I actually came back home to actually have my graduation in one of our biggest parks in the city, right? Guess how many people from the hood showed up? None showed up. Now, people that from the church home showed up. Even some people I went to school showed up. You know, coaches, they showed up. But people from the hood, none of them showed up at all. I'm talking about there were some family members that actually grew up with me down the street from me as well that did not show up. And what's even more interesting is once I got into my profession, I started working, when I would go back to the hood and, you know, check on some of my guys who I grew up with. This, you know, they might have kids that might be the same age as my sons, whatever. I would go there and I would just speak a little bit. Do you know that me being a graduate from college, they would say things like, you know, you think you something, Ninja, don't you? Ninja, you ain't nothing because you went to college. You think you special because you went to college. But then Pookie or T-Mac or Ray Ray that got out of prison, they getting barbecues. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's so messed up. It's so backwards. But at the same time, I still felt that in my mind that what Joe Biden them did, I mean, come on, folks, they studied us. They, you know, Let LBJ, I'm sorry, everybody know he made that comment. I have them ninjas voting Democrats for 200 years. So apparently they studied us long enough to know what it is that we like. And so by letting out a black woman or whatever it is out of prison, black folks celebrated it.
Because that's it. That's it. It's more than, yeah, this is just her race. That's it. That's all. If there was a different race, our community, let me tell you something, Renaissance. Let me tell you something. And even Eric touched upon this on a couple of panels. He said himself, social media is the next powerful thing in this era. Social media got her out. It wasn't the politician. It was the voice of people in the social media. People that look like us, the women from our community, is because she's black. That's it. Like, they don't even care, bro. As long as a black woman get out and a warlord or war criminal is out too, it doesn't matter. We is free.
And just to think that I mean, to me, even if they were going to let out if they were going to release that Marine that's over there for this particular person, honestly, I still would have been like, "Ooh, wait a minute!" Like,
it still would have been bad.
Yeah, you'd have been like, "Oh, okay, down there, that's our Marine. We don't want to leave nobody behind."
But it wouldn't be out of being woke. It wouldn't be out of being woke. Who goes woke for? Who is woke for the Marines?
Oh yeah, exactly. That's
who's woke. Who's woke for the Marines? Who's woke for them? And I want to say this. Okay, she's out right now. You think we'll still be talking about her in the next month or two?
No.
Who was talking about Brittany Griner before that?
Nobody.
And it's crazy. Women from our community celebrate the most that she's being released. Okay. And these are the same women that say we're unprotected and everything. Doesn't she has a history of beating up her ex?
Exactly. Domestic abuse. She beat her ex-girlfriend or fiance, whoever it was, she beat her.
So they pick and choose who assaults women in our community. Now I'll say this, and real quick, I'll say this. I gotta give black folk credit with the a few weeks ago what happened with the what's her name from that got deleted in Mexico, Shanquella.
Oh yeah.
I'll give black folks credit. The outcry for justice for her black friend, I'll give that credit because you already know, like it's the black BLM tendency. Outraged when white folks do this to us. You know, a small portion of us are outraged, but the mass is not outraged. It was a huge outcry.
Yes.
For her and her black friend series justice. So I give black people credit for that. And I want to say my condolences go out to her and her family. I really do hope she gets justice. I'm with the outrage with that. I really do.
Most definitely.
But this right here, no, absolutely not. It's a trend. It's a trend, Renaissance. Like they don't really come on. She's not gonna be a thing until it's not gonna be a thing after a month later.
No,
it's not.
No. I mean, and that's gonna be the whole ordeal, though. Is that she's gonna come over here and get to come back to the country that she hates, and at the country that she wanted to take a knee to. While alone, this guy's gonna go back and he's gonna wreck shop. That's why I say he's not gonna go back and be this whole peaceful man is just getting ready to retire. He's gonna go back to work to what he was doing all before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who's gonna be hurt more by this? You know, who won out of this? Oh, the woke community, because they know that they got a whole bunch of what I call snow cone color hair social justice warriors running around here, that they are supposed to be the next future that's coming into this country. And in doing so, if they appease and pander to them, they know that these people are going to be one of our most biggest groups of independent voters, whatever like this. And if we get their vote because we're showing them how woke we are, then I think our country can end up possibly going into a crazy direction. But I'm getting ready to take a pause right here real quick, prime time, because we're ready to go on commercial break and we'll come right back to it. All right. So give me a second here. Folks, you're listening to Cities 92.9 and News Talk of Bloomington Normal. We are going to take a break and be right back. It's interesting that this doesn't even is this supposed
Hello, Mr. Ty.
Hello.
I can't hear you. Do my check. Hello, Lay. Everybody else.
Hey,
Hey, everybody.
hey, how's everybody doing?
Good, honey. How are you?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so give me a second here, real quick, everybody. Don't forget, just a reminder of everybody. Don't forget, try no cursing, and also you might, the KILL word. We're going to try to say the word delete because of how YouTube is acting right now. But now we have it on here to where we are on a full panel right now. So what y'all going to do, and I just want y'all to kind of be queued up for this right now. Anytime that y'all are talking and I instantly interrupt you and go, okay, folks, so you're listening to Cities 92 Point, that means that we're getting ready to go on commercial break. And if you even hear me say something like, what's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith. That means we're coming back from the commercial break. So all I'm saying that for is that when you see me abruptly interrupt like that and start talking, just try to go mute, because that means we're bringing the listening studio audience around Illinois back in.
Mr. Lay.
Seconds, that's when you should
Lay.
Get ready for the break. Everybody have do that then because of the building.
Mr. Jones, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was going to suggest something for you, sir. Just pretend like we're in church.
Southern Baptist?
I know you don't mean to, but
Southern Baptist?
Me? Pentecostal holiness. Just don't do the snake handling.
Like whenever we
I know. I got you. Yeah, I messed up last time, big time.
You didn't mean to. Your heart's good.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. So,
We'll be all right.
You live to learn by your mistakes. So,
yeah.
I just get passionate sometimes, and I let my butt
No, you do.
overlead my mouth.
That's one of the things that make you such a great talker in here.
I ain't got much to say tonight. I really don't. But I'm just trying to. I just want to come on and try to give people how a veteran feels about what's going on. So anyway.
Yeah.
What makes me sick is
Anna's American. Anna's an American. Seriously. I mean.
Well, what really upsets me is, okay, we've got an American fought for our country sitting over there, and he fought for the rights for this young lady to do the things she's doing, but yet they get her out. That breaks my heart.
I think that's got a lot of people tore up, and you just don't hear about them because it's not reported.
It just breaks my heart.
Well,
it's sad because having morals and standards is disintegrating before our very eyes.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And we
he's
can
on the air. He's on the air.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Don.
Loki, shut up.
Mr. Dante, how are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain. What's going on with you?
Doing good, brother. How you doing? What do you think about this whole ordeal with Brittany Griner being let out? Do you think that she was the most representative, most decorated person that the United States had to get out of there because of all the attributes and things that she done for this country?
Heck no, I don't believe that she's the one that should have got out. But I think if she wasn't a part of the Campbell Soup community, I think she would still be in jail. I think they did that as a woke slogan to try to get people to see that they down with the Transformers, if you want to say. So really, truly, I believe she should have been in jail, and they should let the Marine out. That's just my opinion. Especially letting the Merchant of Death out. That doesn't make sense to me.
So what do you think about the ones that celebrated her getting out? And better yet, and I'm gonna ask you guys, I'm asking you, matter of fact, we're gonna Mr. Dante, then I go to Mr. Roscoe, Mr. Jones, then Miss Biddy, then I go back to Prime. I want you guys all answer this question. What do you guys, because I know it's gonna make some people like, what do you guys think this is gonna do for the alphabet community? Dante.
Me personally, I think it's going to embolden them more. You know, I believe that President Biden is getting ready to sign into legislation, some kind of, you know, law for them. And I think that Brittany Griner may show back up for that, you know, at the signing of that particular legislation. So I think she's being used as a pawn. And I really believe it was a setup from the beginning. Because why would you go to Russia a week before a war is getting ready to start? It's just so many things that go on. So I think that all of this seemed like it was already pre-planned, just like the pandemic. You know, that's just my opinion.
Mr. Roscoe, what say you, sir? You're muted, Roscoe.
I don't believe it's going to do a thing for the alphabet community because this is just a flash in the pan. This was set up by somebody in the Obama administration for good advertising, as it were. Hey, look what we did. We kind of forgot about the Marine, but we've got one of your people out, so we need some votes on the next election. That's when it's going to be brought back up. Okay, this is going to be forgotten, like was said earlier, in a few weeks, and it's going to be done over with and all like that until they need some more good press. That's all this was about. Now, that being said, since she's one of those who likes to kneel for the flag when it's out, and has no respect for the country or whatnot, I'm just so glad that she got a taste of what it's like overseas. The justice system's over there, the lockups and all like that. And if she's going to do anything at all now, she needs to go on speaking to her, tell them exactly what it's like over there, and say, hey, we got it good here in the U.S. We just don't know how good we got it. And hopefully she's learned that lesson, and she's going to be a better person for it, more respectful of the country and the people around her and everything. I'm not saying she's disrespectful to people now, but I don't know her personally. But I'm just so glad one of them finally got a taste of what it's like outside of this country, outside of the United States, once they run afoul of authorities there. Because it ain't the same thing. Not at all. And if this happened in Mexico or something like that, she'd still be there. Wouldn't have got loose. I mean, any of the countries over there, the laws over there are so strict on drugs that, it's a wonder she's seen the light of day, because they will bust them and they'll put them away. They don't even think twice about it. And we're talking about, say, half a marijuana cigarette. Say half a joint. They gone. And I hope a lot of people learn from this, that are running their mouth about the country and everything, because we need people to support this country. We need to get our government straightened out and do right by others. And that's about as far as I'll take this one here. We'll let somebody else have it.
Mr. Lay Jones, you, sir, we know who you are. We know you very well. You are a veteran. You fought for this country. You fought to protect people like me. You fought so that people like Brittany Griner can protest like she did, and she disrespected the flag that you fought for, sir. And you being a veteran, what do you think about her being way more important than you are, and way more decorated than you are, and way more praised than you are, putting her life on the line for this country more than what you did? What do you think about her getting let out and getting your and letting your Marine brother stay there in prison?
Well, I'm going to say this right here. I don't want no aberration. I don't want nobody recognizing me or anything. I did it for this country and for every citizen in these damn United States of America. I did it for all Americans. I don't care what your race is. American is American. Now, my true feelings on her, the first time that she knelt, she gave up her rights as an American citizen. That's just the way I feel. I'm sorry. You either stand for that flag or you don't. Now, when she got her butt in a bad sling over there, it was all, come help me, United States. Come help me, United States. And now Biden, and I have to disagree a little bit there with, what's his name? Yeah, this right here was all political. This right here was for Biden and his administration to lean towards the LGBTQ, black and the WNBA and everybody out there that he can get a vote from. It's all political. It's all political. Now, let's talk about the Marine over there. He's been there since 2018. If people want to talk about, how Biden did this right here so great and the other person he got out, Donald Trump got out 50 prisoners from other countries and didn't trade one darn prisoner for them. He used economics and pressure on them with money and every darn thing. So there was a way around this, but why not go after, not just the Marine over there. There's 2 school teachers in Russia in prison right now.
Wow.
Now, ever since we backed out of Afghanistan, I lowered my flag in my front yard to have staff. You know why? Because we still got Americans in Afghanistan that nobody is even talking about. They're not even trying to get them out or anything. And now all of a sudden, this is the most important news on TV? No, I want every American in every foreign country brought home, and I'm not going to trade somebody that's going to enhance the Ukraine war. And that's exactly what Putin's going to use this guy to do. He is going to kill Americans all over this world, and he's going to entice the Russian military in Ukraine. And people just Google it. Just read this stuff. I mean, it's facts. It's not, one person giving their opinion or anything. It's out there. And as an American veteran, I don't approve of this. I don't approve of it at all, because if you're going to give, you don't give your king or your queen in a chess match for a pawn. Okay? If you're going to give your queen in a chess match, you better get a bishop, a castle, a knight. You better get 3 or 4. I mean, this right here was totally politics, and it was totally to bump Biden and his administration. That's all it was. He could have got more than what he got, but he didn't. And that's all on him. That's every bit of this lays at the feet of Joe Biden.
Wow. Wow. Prime time. What say you, sir?
Oh, was it she?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Well, Miss Britt.
Yes. Well, I have to agree with Dante. I have to agree with Mr. Jones. I agree with Roscoe.
We have a beep going on. I don't know who it's coming from. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah,
there
I got
we
it.
go. We got it.
I heard it. But I also, and please forgive me, my brain don't work so good after the stroke, but I do try.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden would have had more power. But because all the other countries see him as nothing, as a cartoon, as a joke, we don't get nothing because they know he will not do anything. He will not stand and make a deal. He will cow every time. And we need a president that's going to stand up. I don't know if I can say this on the radio.
Go ahead, sis.
We need a president that has the cojones to do what is right.
Completely agree.
So, I mean, it breaks my heart because the veteran that is in there, he fought for the rights for Brittany Griner to be able to kneel, to be able to do all this crap that she's doing. But yet he's not as important as her.
During the break.
It breaks my heart.
try to get you on sometime soon. Is it okay?
Yep.
Mind if I put you on
You know, and that's what I think is the biggest thing. And before we take this break, I'm just going to close out with this before we come back off the commercial break, is that I see that a lot of people do look at the United States right now as being completely weak. I said there was a time where, I mean, even prior to Donald Trump, I mean, you might not have liked the past presidents before Donald Trump, Obama, Clinton, whatever it was. But what I'm going to say is that I still felt like there was this sense of pride in America to where you felt like nobody was going to mess with us. You know what I mean? Even though you didn't like the presidents, but nobody's going to mess with America. I mean, you just had that pride about it, had your head up high. Nobody's going to touch America because they know what would happen. But now we're at a point where we're weakened like this. It's just sad to see because we look like nobody's afraid of us at all. With that being said, folks, you're listening to Cities 92.9 and News Talking Bloomington Normal. We will be right back after this break. All right, when we come back, I'll be coming right back in on you, Prime. But I think you kind of answered this question already a little bit too, Prime Time. So what I'll do is I'll jump into the next thing, starting with you, Prime, and then we'll go back. We'll go to Prime, Roscoe, Dante, Lay Jones, and Britt. But then we also have a caller that called in too. So we're gonna let the caller call in and make their comment, and then I'll jump to you, Prime.
Okay. Well, you can call me Dana. My real name is Dana.
That's gonna be hard now that your name tag shows up as Britt. So
It says Bitty Boo.
no, keep it Britt, because you might not know, it might be somebody that might be your next door neighbor, might be watching me too, and they don't agree with you, and all of a sudden they're gonna come and not bring you no more pies and stuff, and not invite you to the HOA.
I'm the one that takes the pies.
Association.
I'll send you a pie.
Okay.
Yep. So we just on break right now. I think there was a way to. Oh yeah, the earphones ain't up, and I'm saying there's a way y'all be able to hear the commercials and all that versus just sitting here. So I'm gonna go grab some water here real quick, and I will be right back.
Okay. Proud of you, Lay. I only heard one D word from you.
Hey, I did good, didn't I?
You done fantastic, sir. You started getting a little passionate. I'm like, oh, here it comes, but you backed off of it. I'm so proud of you.
I backed off of it. I did. I'm trying to do a whole lot better.
You're doing great.
I'll tell you what, I was trying to think of another word for balls.
Chinooks.
That's when I said cojones.
Well, but Family Jewels work also. I think that's piece.
That'll work. Or you know what? Just say guts. Just say I have enough of guts, to do something, So,
I am Ty Smith, the Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is area code 309-451-9299. And you can text the show at 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio, go over to YouTube and type in Modern Renaissance Man. And when you see that thumbnail of me or a picture of me being in the studio with a red hat on, click on that and you will be able to interact with me on the internet and I can interact with you. So before we took the break, we had the panel who has been doing an awesome job with answering these questions here. And you get a wide variety of different ideas from different parts of this nation right now. And people are just stating their opinions here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going really well. So right now, before we took the break, you heard from the panelists and their opinion on this whole Brittany Griner ordeal. And then we also had a caller that was on the line. We're going to address that. Caller, you on Cities 92.9?
Yes. Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Hi, Modern Renaissance Man. I love your show. And
thank you.
I'm going to tell y'all, I am a 60-some-year-old white woman.
Okay.
So you do have a lot of different people watching, and I understand people being upset about the swap. But the saving grace is, and I'm not going to preach to anyone or to the choir, so to speak, God's in control.
That's right.
God is moving, and I mean, he's moving fast. His words are, and you do realize he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm going to say, y'all need to look up some prophets. He says, no two men walking on our earth here today can clean this stench up. Therefore, he has to come back to help take care of it. What has been going on, and like I said, I'm 60-some years old. I've known for the last 40-some years. I had a conversation with my brother that passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why am I not comfortable in the country I was born in? And I said, I can't put a handle on it. Don't know why. And at that time, I did not go to church. I was young. And I still don't go to church, but I get it at home.
Okay.
I do read my Bible. And we all need to know. And his words are, he is coming back. It is not the time, because people hollering the book of Revelation and what it says. And if you don't mind, I'm going to call you Mr. Modern. I know you know the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you know it is not time for the one world government. He says they're trying to rush it up. He said, this is my time, the great revival. There will be, at a point in time, I don't know that I'll be alive. Like I said, I'm in my 60s. Makes no difference. I love him. I know he died for me. And that's all I care about. I care about other people. I care about all of us. And what you said about Ukraine, I'm going to tell you something. And I don't know if this is going to go out on the air or not.
It is.
You know why Putin is in Ukraine, don't you?
Go ahead
and
and
I'm
tell
going to
us.
tell you something's going to knock your socks off.
Say it again.
They can shut me up all they want. They can try, but they can't stop God from talking. He talks to who he wants to talk to. Putin is in Ukraine. I found it online, and I'm so sorry I didn't do snapshots of it to keep it. He's in Ukraine because 2 other people told God no. They wouldn't do it. He's in there cleaning up. He didn't want the war, but he told God he would do it. And I don't know if you realize it or not how much a sin.
Say what? Hello, hello. Where you go? Okay. Can't hear her. Well, we can't hear her no more. I think we might have lost. Hello. Okay, hopefully we can get her back some way or another. But so we're gonna keep on rolling on here, ladies and gentlemen. So you guys heard what she was saying. She was giving her opinion on what she thought was going on, giving it from a biblical standpoint. And what I want to bring in here is I want to ask the panel, the ones that are in here right now. What I want to bring in here is I want to ask you guys this question. Okay. With all the things that y'all just got done hearing us talking about when it comes to Brittany Griner, do you think that it is a smack to the face to the current drug dealers that are in prison in jail right now for doing exactly what Brittany Griner did right now? Do you think it's a smack in the face of them, Dante?
Yes, sir. I definitely do. But because her celebrity, of course, they're gonna bring her home. Like I said, she have a lot of things behind her. She have the alphabet behind her. She have black behind her. She has woman behind her. And she have the Democrats behind her. So she have a lot of wind behind herself. So of course, they will bring her home. But there's a lot of people that's in jail for less, and they're not home. So yeah, I think it has something to do with who she is and what she's doing to affect politics. I think that's the only reason why she's home.
Wow, nice. Roscoe, do you think it's fair to the current people that are in jail or prison right now for being locked up for the same type of drug charges that Brittany Griner did? She got let out, but they didn't. They're in America.
Well, they're in America. She was in Russia. In one way, yes, it is a slap to their face. But that being said, I think she should have pulled the full term of her imprisonment. She broke the crime. I mean, she did the crime, paid the time, just like the people here in America is having to do. The drug dealers and all like that. There's a reason they're in jail. They broke the law. Okay, and if you're going to make one exception, yeah, by the rule of thumb, you should make other exceptions. However, in this case, that is not going to be done, not in our lifetime, because it's, as was said, it's all political, and they're just going to be doing that. And again, it's just have votes keep coming their way and everything, and it's not fair. But then again, this ain't a fair world. I mean, you look at the different levels of stuff that's went on over the last 4 or 5 years with Trump being harassed by the Democrats. I've never seen the president harassed as much as that gentleman has.
No.
Nobody. And again, in this case, one way. Nope, it's not fair. But then again, we're talking about another country, different laws, and she should have pulled the time. I mean, maybe with time off of good behavior and all like that, like we do here in the States. But people here got to pull the time. Why is she any better? She's not, in my opinion. All people are created equal. It says all men are created equal, but all people are created equal. And you do the crime, got to do the time.
I agree.
Okay, on to the next one.
All right, Mr. Lay Jones, what do you think?
Well,
It's a smack in the face to the people who are in jail for possibly doing the same type of charges Brittany Griner did, or even less charges, and they're serving out their term. And Kamala Harris, who is notoriously known for purposely locking these people up and doing it on an extreme level, is all, we got Brittany Griner out, guys. What do you think about her getting Brittany Griner out when she literally was the reason why a lot of these people went to jail for the same charges? Do you think it's a smack in the face to those?
When I was in the military and I served in Germany, I abided by Germany laws and the UCMJ military laws. Okay. I knew if I broke them damn laws, I was going to get my butt handed to me. Okay. Now let's flip forward. Flip forward 15 years whenever I became a police officer. Okay. In late 80s, all the way through the 90s. There was a lot of people that I arrested for marijuana. They didn't deserve jail time. They didn't. I mean, if they would have been programs, or if there had been people out there, or programs or something where they could have got into, or, just all kinds of different stuff. They, people, the communities could, provided, for these young kids or, these young people to get into and get their mind off that. I've seen a lot of kids, I say kids because they were younger than me, that, got jail time that, man, they didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve jail time. Put them on probation, make them go out here and do some community service, make them pay a fine or whatever. I think America has got to the point now to where the least little bit that you do wrong, and I hate to say this, but the Democrats are more into locking up African Americans than they are white people. Now, that's just a perspective from a white person that served in law enforcement. I mean, I've seen this with my damn eyes. Now, times have changed since I served in law enforcement. I do agree, if you do the crime, you do the time. But you got to figure out, you just can't look at the crime itself that you got arrested for. Prosecutors and law enforcement, everybody, not really law enforcement, but prosecutors and all these have got to look at that person before the crime. And what led up to that?
Take a break real quick, ladies and gentlemen. You listen to Cities 92.9. We'll be right back. You can keep on continuing.
There's more aspects to simple possession. I mean, when I was in law enforcement, I had probable cause to pull you over for a roach clip on your damn rearview mirror. Really? You got a roach clip on your rearview mirror, and that gives me probable cause to pull you over.
Having anything on your mirror gives you probable cause in most states to pull somebody over.
I mean, not only if it wasn't a roach clip, you could say, okay, it's affecting your vision looking through the damn windshield. I mean, now I am not attacking law enforcement. I mean, law enforcement needs every tool they can because times have changed where it's not just marijuana now. You got marijuana laced with fentanyl. You got I mean, you have got killer drugs out there right now. And until America starts taking care of the drug like fentanyl, we're always, if anybody thinks we're going to beat the drug problem in the United States, you're crazy, okay? Drugs are always going to be here. But we can stop fentanyl, and we need to secure that border, and we need to declare the cartels as a damn terrorist organization, and we need to bomb them or with our military inside Mexico. That might be, you know, outrageous, but they are terrorists. Bomb their compounds.
It's crazy.
And we do have the technology to selectively strike stuff.
We could definitely.
You got drones out there. It's operated overseas from Florida. We can do it in Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mexico would applaud that because Mexico ain't got enough of Canucks to do it themselves.
Well, they're too paid off.
Yeah.
You want to talk about?
They ain't got no choice. They ain't got no choice.
You want to talk about
Mexico is run by the cartels. Mexico is a narco state.
Yeah. Yeah.
The entire state exists and survives only because of the narcotics trade.
Exactly.
Let me read off a super chat here real quick, fellas and lady. Says, what the Twitter files show is this nation has died from cancer of corruption, and it's gone from the FBI to tech companies and to tax and to tax to every part of society. It's over for the U.S. And then, so Journey Trials, enjoy, appreciate the super chat there. And then the other one that you sent in, the $10 super chat from Journey Trials and Joy says, this is why they are moving to push digital currency. Once they pass that, can't buy or sell. Like the lady was trying to say, we are moving towards that future. It's been over for a while. And also, don't forget, guys, if y'all hear me, just jump right in and start saying, you know, what's going on, Bloomington Normal. That's bring us back on the air. So I just want to let y'all know that. So, Sean for help, welcome. And never seen you on here before, but welcome. And what I'll do is when we come back to the radio, I'll bring you on, Sean. But what I'm going to do, we have a caller that's on the line. The caller has a difference of opinion on some of the things that's been said right now. So we're going to hear the caller out. And once the caller get done, I'll let you guys respond. I'll start it with Sean, and then I'll move on to Mick.
Roger that.
10-4.
Roger that. Okay, he's military.
Yeah, no factor here. It's all good.
Roger that.
Nice. Military too, that's good. Good to get those different perspectives like that from people that actually serve.
I was Air Force over in Germany back in the middle 70s, I'd say. And we were the first wing over there to get F-15A and B models, transitioning from the F-4. And that kind of got Russia's attention right there.
Oh, yeah.
They had 75 brand new hot rods sitting up there just waiting on them.
Yeah, buddy. They got their attention. I was in Germany from 1981 to 86. And when we got the M1s and the Bradleys, yeah, they got their attention.
Yeah, those F-14 or F-15s that we had were something.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get the opportunity to be in Germany. I was in Hawaii, gentlemen, and that was for military intelligence. I was actually in during 90 to 94. We were monitoring the Tiananmen Square fiasco that was going on over there in China when it was happening.
I would love to have you over in Germany because that was fun times over there. That was fun times underneath Reagan. Underneath Reagan, that was fun times.
Yeah,
it really wasn't for me because the only thing it did while I was in Germany was rain and snow and freeze.
Well, yeah,
summer. We had about like 1 week of summer, and that was it.
Well, you know, the only time I ever got warm was Oktoberfest.
Well, there's a reason for that.
I'm just going to say that must have been a double-fisted moment. I'm just saying.
Well, you know, you had a liter of beer and a bratwurst. What more did you need?
Well, I'm kind of out of my realm here. I'm just a sister and a mother of a vet.
There you go. Well, you're involved too.
Yeah.
Those that wait also serve.
Yep. Then were good times. Best times of my life. Best times of my life. Cool.
They can't cancel him or City 92.9. It's Cancel This with Ty Smith.
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299, and you can text the show at area code 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio where I can interact with you and you interact with me, go over to YouTube and type in Modern Renaissance Man. Click on the thumbnail where you see me in the studio, and you will be able to possibly chime in and give your voice, and I can interact with you. And like I said, you can interact with me. And before we took the break, ladies and gentlemen, we were still talking about this ordeal that's going on with the decision that this administration made to make us look even more weaker than what we already have appeared, since we got so many snow cone coming here, social justice warrior crew and folks in their feelings, making us look like the weakest laughing stock of the world right now. And before we took the break, there was someone that called in, and we're going to address their call right now. Caller. They're gone. So anyway, so what I was asking the panel, and we're going to move on to someone that's on here too, Sean, is that do you think that it is a smack in the face to some of the people that went to jail for the same or even less like type of crimes that Brittany Griner did, and they're still in jail, and we fought as in America to get they did the same thing in another country out?
Yes, absolutely, without question. Looking as to what fellow LEO that I have here on the panel with me, I'm a former military policeman myself, and I was in military intelligence over in Hawaii. This has gotten ridiculous, especially under Kamala's reign in California when she was locking people up and then kept them there longer than their time. I would think that it would not only be a smack in the face, but continually question what was the purpose of this. Now, again, the totality of the circumstances is a big deal. You have to look before, after, just like you said. I'm not disagreeing with that. But at the same time, we have to look at the longevity of history in its efforts to say, why is this happening? Anything that approaches in the leftist politics that are going on today, as much as it is that the alphabet mafia is out there trying to do what they're doing, I would say that more than likely, while this is pushing an agenda, it is more mayhem. Even Jordan Peterson has addressed this, that the more that you look at what they're doing, it is not actually to help anything, but to create more mayhem. To do this under communism, I mean, again, 100 million plus people, deleted off the planet, couldn't be wrong about their government taking them and, giving them a permanent vacation, hand in hand. So the more mayhem that is created, the longer and easier it is for them to stay in power. And that's where this is creating that kind of contention. Plus, when you're releasing this gentleman who's very good at finding pew-pews and being able to distribute them well in his chain of fulfillment, we'll say it that way, I would think that it would be hubris at best. And I mean, at the very best that you could say, hubris, that to think that this is not something put forth by design or that they haven't thought this through. With the former job I've done with the services as it is in the Army, I'm going to say there's so much that can be unwrapped with this, but some of it's speculation, some of it I'm pretty certain of because I've seen what we've done previously in other countries. So I'll leave it pretty much at that for the most part, because we need to have it to where we have this as a discussion. I'm putting this out there for people to think about this. Why is there this mayhem? What is going on? If you're not paying attention, anytime there's a weakness and somebody in the Democrats grabs a hold of it to create it from a molehill into a mountain, that's where they're trying to get the division to create more of a mayhem for them to have power. It's all about fear. I'll leave it at that.
Really, really good point there, man. Really, really good point. As someone right here said, yes, Sean. Good point there. All right, man. Appreciate that. Mick, what say you, sir?
Well, first we need to find out a couple of things. Number one, there's everything from she had 100 cartridges to 1 in her possession at the time out there. No one has actually put the paperwork online describing her crime. Because let's be honest, for a vape cartridge other than in Texas, I don't even know any place in the United States left that you would get more than a ticket. nowadays.
Mhm.
This false idea that anybody is put in prison for a first time minor marijuana conviction, just it doesn't exist in reality. Because there's simple possession and there's possession with intent.
Right.
And that all depends on how much you get caught with and what you get caught with while you're in possession of it.
So now that we're here in the United States right now, and you have people in a lot of different states that have completely legalized it now, though. But those people who went to jail for those drug charges, should they still be locked up?
What charge did they go to jail for? That is the main thing. Like I said, hardly anybody, unless it was a 3 strikes felon who got caught in possession, went to jail for simple possession of marijuana.
So you think it's something that's way deeper than what Brittany Griner did? So you think that she may have possibly got caught with more than what they actually reported?
Well, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because some outlets have said she had a bag full of cartridges. Other outlets have said she had 1. I don't know if she got caught with an entire suitcase full or 1. Either way, it's Russian law. She should be accountable to Russian law.
Absolutely.
For whatever she did.
So do you think it was kind of okay? So do you think that was completely like a I call it what? Do you think that was just like a bogus move for them to actually get her out?
Oh no, she pleaded guilty.
No. Do you think it was a bogus move for the United States to save her?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
definitely.
That's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering.
I don't want to hear anything from another Democrat again against gun control when they turn that monster loose on the world.
Yes, you literally took my next point right out of my mouth. I was going to say that we're all about this whole thing. Oh, gun control in the United States, gun control, and then you go and release the biggest, most notorious known merchant of arms dealing in the whole world. You go and release him, and then want to talk to us in the United States about some gun control.
And this guy specialized in handheld, shoulder-fired anti-aircraft weapons.
And made sure the people were properly trained to the utmost strategic and prestigious firing. He made sure that he's making assassins. He ain't just training nobody to go shoot the gun randomly. They're making sure that these people are some stone cold killers. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
And the entrance of those into the international arms market, it will be devastating.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys all answering the questions I have here. We're going to change the tone up here a little bit. Y'all gonna be like, how in the world did we get to this? So this new thing that I just come across, I don't know.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Say one more thing, man? Because honestly, we all know Biden didn't make this decision.
Of course not. It was Barack Obama.
I want to know who did, because we need to really find out who our president actually is, because it's not that feeble old man.
He don't know who he is.
Exactly. Exactly. Half the time, unless they've got him up on drugs, he probably can't read a clock.
No. He barely can get that. He barely can get the teleprompter there. So we all know how that goes, though. So yeah, man. So before we take this break here, guys, it's been this huge thing, and I know this is going to completely turn things around. I don't know if anybody's on this panel is married, or I'm pretty sure some of you guys are married, some of you guys are not, some of you guys dated, et cetera, et cetera. But this new thing has come across right now where I just could not believe that for the past maybe 6 weeks, I've been pretty much invited to come on these panels because I've been married for 21 years. I've been invited to come on these panels to talk about the current state of our younger people, younger generation that are getting ready to go into this phase of possibly getting married or even getting into a relationship. And when it all comes down to it, they are not even trying to. They don't desire to. They don't want to, because they already looking at the statistics right now to show that America has a 50% fail rate. But that right there is not the biggest thing that's scaring them off. And most of this is coming from the men, and it's coming from the women, to where the way that they talk to me and the way that they describe to me, about how they're getting ready to possibly engage in a relationship, they are more than anything fearful up to an extent where they almost like want to have a freaking lawyer just before they even go and engage in dating, because of all the things that have come up now in this modern, they call it the modern man and the modern woman. And I don't know if anybody out there in Bloomington Normal right now in the Central Illinois listening area, if you guys heard of that term, but whenever we get ready to come back from this break, I want y'all to hear this, all right? So you're listening to Cities 92.9 and News and Talk of Bloomington Normal. We will be right back.
Okay, explain to me what a modern man and what a modern woman is.
Oh, when we come back from break, Miss Biddy Boo, I'll get right into it.
I've heard younger women say that they got married just because they wanted the ceremony and the party.
I don't doubt that at all.
Knowing that divorce was going to happen.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of funny that y'all bringing up the subject of marriage, because my dearly beloved is pittering around in the kitchen right now, so she's going to overhear what I say. But today is 40 years.
Congratulations.
Man, congrats.
Marguerite, everybody's congratulating you for putting up with me for so long.
And thank the both of you for putting the work in.
Well,
because marriage is work.
It's been a long road, and that ain't over with yet. So we'll have to see what goes on.
Well, I'm 10 years behind you.
Congratulations.
I've been married 40. I've been married 40 if you count all three. Right now, I'm on 22 years.
Sometimes it takes practice there, Mr. Lay. You know that. I mean, you got
third time's a charm. I married Lucifer's daughters the first two times, so I had to figure that out. So
I married his son the first time. I said I married his son the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
You got kids marrying kids now. They ain't got a clue what dedication, commitment, family. They ain't got a clue what it means. They ain't got a clue.
No.
What is going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is area code 309-451-9299. You can text the show at area code 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio, go over to YouTube right now and type in Modern Renaissance Man, and you will see me live in the studio. Once you click on that thumbnail, you will be able to interact with me, and I will be able to interact with you. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So before we took the break, you guys seen that we kind of transitioned over to a new topic, and what we were talking about, or what I was starting to get into rather, is that there's been this new thing that I've been kind of on these panels with lately, with a lot of young people between the ages of 18 and actually all the way up to 25 years old, that they are discouraged and really have no desire to really pursue, possibly get into a relationship with the intentions on getting married because of the new modern norms that come today. So this is going to be some grown folk conversation. So if you have children that may be listening, you might want to let them get out of there, go tell them to go play or something like that. So gave you a little time to do that right now, but it's not going to get too out of pocket because we're on the radio, of course. But here's the deal. A lot of these young men have come to these panels and they say that it's hard to date because these women now, they call them the modern woman, they're coming with too much stipulations. And I didn't even know it. They call it the sixes. They want you to be 6 foot tall, making 6 figures, and have 6 inches of apparatus that men have. And so that's what they're calling these modern women. They want you to already have your stuff in place before they even consider even giving you the time of day. You're not even worth their time of the day if you don't have none of those 6s. Then on the other side, you have the men who say, I want a woman that's going to be making her own money. I'm talking to the extent where these men are saying that when we go out on the dates, I'm not paying for her. She's going to pay for her bill and I'm going to pay for my bill. And then they even took it further, said if this woman is interested in me and she wants to take me out on a date, if I go on that date, she's paying for it because she asked me to go. And then these men are also saying, I have no desire to get married because the system is set up to be completely against men. What am I saying? If you get with the woman and you marry her, if you get divorced, most likely the woman is going to get half. The man's going to have get his stuff taken away. She's most likely going to get the alimony. If you guys have children and them children are young and you guys get a divorce, most likely the woman is going to get the children, and the court is going to have it set up to where she's going to have the children 80% of the time, and she will dictate how often you see your own children. And with that being said, these men are saying, well, screw it. I'm not trying to be with no woman. I'm not trying to marry a woman because I am completely going to lose if I get with this woman. And for the last 6 weeks, I have to admit to you guys, this has been one of the things that it just kind of threw me, not for a loop, but I actually kind of felt bad for them because it's amazing that I'm 40 years old, and most of these guys that I'm talking to, before I tell them my age, they think that I'm their age. So when I give them these pointers and this different advice and wisdom and knowledge when it comes to relationships, they're blown out their mind because it's like, man, where'd you grow up at? And man, how you so young? How do you know this? And then when I tell them I've been married 21 years, all of a sudden they flip the script and they go, man, you an old head. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm barely 15 years older than y'all. What are y'all talking about? So these young guys and these young women already are going into a relationship, and it has nothing to do with the basis of actually trying to get to know each other, your likes, your dislikes, your dreams, and your goals. All it is about is, do you have these stipulations set up before we can even go out on a date? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have our producer in here, Kev, give some input on here, and I want to hear from Mr. Practical because he's a young guy. He's in college, real smart guy. He has his own show that plays before I come on. And Kev, you know what to do. I don't have to.
No, I got you. I'm hoping your people can hear me right now too. But Ty, I'm actually in a relationship right now. I have a beautiful girlfriend. Love her to death. They can't see me right there, but feel free to go look me up on the internet. Kevin the Ferris, P-H-A-R-E-S on Instagram if you want to check that out. I am not tall. I'm not 6 foot tall. And I am 21 years old. I do not make six figures at all. But my girlfriend and I mean, we have a great relationship. I mean, I'm an outspoken conservative on campus. She's the vice president of Students for Life. And we have conversations. I mean, because one thing that it seems like happens nowadays is people, well, one, there's a hookup. There's a culture around people getting together for a night, having certain relations, and then never talking to each other again, never having any further interaction. And that is denigrating to the entire idea and sanctimony that is having a relationship between a man and a woman. And I say man and a woman specifically because the thing is that biologically, the strengths a man has and the strengths a woman has complement each other. It is, and I get it. There's gay people out there, that's their own prerogative. But God made us to be a man and a woman because we have strengths and weaknesses that complement each other between men and women. And I think the best advice I can have,
21, y'all.
The best advice I can have to anybody out there that might be struggling with these kinds of things, if you can find yourself as a young man, I can speak to the young men out there. If you can find yourself a good woman, I mean, my girlfriend works. I don't expect her to go out and pay for dates or anything like that. I pay for the majority of our dates. I mean, since we've been in a relationship for a little bit.
He 21, y'all.
But that's just the way. I mean, the point I'm trying to say is I want a girl that works because I want a girl who has passion for something that I'm not her entire life. The way that we make it work and the way that we don't break up at the slightest inconvenience is because we talk about making the conscious decision every day to be in a relationship. That's how people, I mean, I've read books about it. I've talked to people. That's how people like your viewers and the person on the panel have been together for 40 years. I guarantee you they tell you something similar, is the fact that they make the conscious decision every day to be together and to work together and to have a relationship that is for a greater good of themselves. That's my
Ooh, he gave more. He said that's his 2 cents, y'all. He gave about 50 cents. No, man, see, that's what I'm saying. Here he is. He's 21 years old. He's 21 years old. And you hearing this dude speaking like this. I'm going to definitely, on these panels, I'm definitely going to have Kevin. When he goes home, he's behind this. I'm going to have him, and I'm hope he will invite him and his girlfriend to come on here and talk about this, because literally on these panels, I'm just sitting there looking at some of these young guys like, what happened to you guys? Like, what in the world? Like Kev just got done saying, look what he just got done describing that he and his current girlfriend talk about. She didn't come. He's in school. She didn't come at him. Hey, well, you know, you heard him say he's not 6 feet tall. You know, he's not 6 feet tall. He don't have six figures. You know what I'm saying? He's not saying anything. Now, We to the panel, guys. I want to throw this in there, and I want to say a huge congratulations to my friend Roscoe. Roscoe has been on my channel since I started this thing, but he just gave some big news that we just heard. And Roscoe, I'm going to let you go ahead and tell the listening audience and the panel what you just told us.
Well, this came up during the break and all like that. Well, just before the break about marriage and all like that. And today is my anniversary, or my wife's anniversary, I should say. She's the one that's married. 40 years now today.
40 years, folks. This man been married the same age as I am. He's been married.
Anybody says a marriage can't last is full of it. Now, it's not been a smooth road. It's been rocky. There's been a lot of hills, mountains, climbs, valleys we had to get out of and all like that. But marriage can work if you work at it. That's about the best thing that I can say about that. As far as the 6 foot deal, I'm 6'2". As far as the other 6, well, you know, money, 6 figures. I can take right down 6 figures. I didn't have that in the bank. I worked at the sawmill. I made $4.25 an hour back in '82 when we first got married, and so I know what work's like, and you know what work is. You got to do it when you dive in on a marriage. Well, I got one of the package deals, I guess you could say, because I got the wife, stepson, dog, nice apartment, and all like that. And so I was pretty much set as far as that goes. And the rest of it is just making it work.
Being 40 years married, when you and your wife are first dating or courting, what's some of the things that came naturally to you as a man? You know what I mean? Where you we talk about people like, you open the doors, you paid the check, you had this sense of protecting her, you had this sense of, go ahead and just tell me some of the things that you, when you guys were first dating and courting, what are some of the things that just you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you were going to do?
Well, the way I was raised and all, like, number one, treat her like a lady.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's because if I come across any female and I don't use the words ma'am or lady or anything like that, my grandfather would come out the grave and get me because he raised me a lot better than that. And so, yeah, I think she'll back me up when I say this, that while we were courting or whatever, dating, polite, respectful, all that good stuff. And like I say, we just made the decision to get married and all like that. And it's like I say, it's been on the road from there. Again, it's not been all happiness and joy. It's got a lot of rocky roads and everything, but it all depends on how well the two people that get married want to make it work.
And ladies and gentlemen, you just heard it from Roscoe. We're getting ready to take a break. We will be right back. All right, Roscoe, we're going to bring you right back in too. We're going to get to the other fellas on the panel as well, because this, guys, this is, I'm serious. I'm going to try to do something here, and the studio audience is not going to be able to hear this, but I'm going to try to bring up a share screen here, and I want you guys just to hear, like this panel that I was on last night. I want you guys to hear from what some of the things that they were saying here real quick. I'm going to see if I can show this to you guys, because I was just like, what in the world? Like, let's see if you like this can play out.
Much company in the world, bro.
The problem with the idea of dating and it being one-sided is the expectation is both of y'all are interested in each other. So there should be an equal or some type of balance to that, especially today, since women are making more money and they these independent creatures now. So if that is the case,
but you said expectation. That's where the problems come in with expectations.
Again, the expectation is
the expectation that y'all both are interested in each other,
right? And then as
the man around these spaces,
a mutual benefit for it. Now, if that is the case, if both of you all during that experience go, I'm not interested, you're not interested in me, and I'm not interested in you, we should break even, because that's the idea of a date. We should break even, and hopefully through us coming together, we'll both be successful in a relationship. Relationships aren't supposed to be this one-sided parasitic thing. It's not. That's not how this works. So if a woman is a parasite, if a woman is a parasite before you even get in a relationship because she's on a bad date and she don't even want to pay her half, then you shouldn't get with her. And then if she asks you out and the expectation is she's still gonna be a parasite, I don't know what else to tell you. That's a whole demon out here.
She
But I wasn't
suckers, but
looking at it as
unfortunately,
her
guess
half to
what?
be
What the point
walking
that I
with,
was
though.
Y'all see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I was like, man, I mean, Cheeky, he's a really good guy, really young guy, and crazy enough, he's still a virgin too. So I mean, and I'm doing my best to protect this young man from some of the stuff, because some folks get on there and give out bad advice, but it's just that coming from his mindset, he's one of the guys that's not really trying to really dive deep into no relationship because of you know, how the current modern women is. And I was trying to find the particular spot where he kind of set this off when we were talking about this, because it got real interesting.
I'm just saying, for
Doing
me,
Dutch
just to
is
get
not
it-
a common thing. Doing Dutch is not a common thing. She was secretly recording him. If oh dang, you know what? If she was secretly recording
Granville is not
potential some type of relationship, whether it's a situationship, relationship, friendship, potential.
When you said the date limitations or whatever, I said, I mean, I'm just saying, for
Doing
me,
Dutch
just to
is
get
not
it-
a common thing.
Know anything about paying their halves when friends go out on dates? Does anybody know about
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very common.
that? So why, if you go on a date with somebody, why they don't have to pay their half? You're not-
Here we go. I'm gonna pop it off right there when we come back.
Doing Dutch is not a common thing. Doing Dutch is not a common thing in this community.
Give me a second.
I'm not even gonna ask her.
Okay, so
I'm
let me,
gonna
so,
just
so
pay
girl,
my half.
no,
Yeah.
let me simplify then.
Okay, so
Let's say you have a
I'm gonna bring it in on that, and we'll be able to go off of that. And I'll start it off with you, Roscoe, then we'll pop off to Sean, so that way the
All right.
listening audience around here can hear it as well. Then we'll go to Lay. Then
Ty,
Mr. Dante.
can you drop the link for Biddy Boo? Her cat booted her off the chat here. Yeah, that's what she said.
I know what that's like. God, cats, I love them.
Let's see. Here we go, Miss Biddy Boo. And the guy that's the guy that you guys see right here, the host right here, this is Aaron. And I mean, I like the way that some of these guys, I mean, he's very intellectual, you know, got a good head on his shoulder, but he do ask some very relevant questions that kind of make you think. Because like I said, these women that they're talking about a lot, guys, I literally begged them, can y'all go and get these women y'all talking about and bring them on so I can talk to them? It just blows my mind who they're talking about. So give me a second here real quick. We're getting ready to come back in about a good 20-some seconds, 30-some odd seconds right here. But yeah, I definitely want to get you guys' info on this right here. You guys are gonna see what I'm talking about. And then you guys will be able to see my facial expression when this goes out too, though, because I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what? What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is area code 309-451-9299, and you can also chime in and see me live in the studio by going onto YouTube, typing in Modern Renaissance Man, click on that thumbnail, and you'll be able to interact with me, and I can interact with you. You are actually able to click this link to join the panel, and I can see you, you can see me, and your voice will be heard not only to those viewing on the internet worldwide, but also to the listening audience here in Central Illinois. And before we took the break, I was telling you guys about a relationship. Mr. Roscoe was letting us know about how his marriage is and how long it's been going and the things that he was taught to do as a man in courting his wife. But I want to listen to this, and also those viewing on the internet, to listen to this real quick. And I want you guys to hear how some of these young men are thinking. So listen to this really quick, and then we're going to let this discussion go on.
a female friend, right?
Right.
Y'all been friends for, let's just say, 2 years.
Who is
Y'all go out to eat. You're like, all right, let's go get something to eat, right? Y'all meet up and get something to eat, right?
Here's the
Do
thing.
you pay for the meal, or do normally friends pay their halves? Y'all meet up, right?
Here's the thing.
I can't lie, bro. I can't lie. The female friends I have, like, it go back and forth. I pay it all one day, and they're like, hey, I got it this time.
So let me do something here real quick, because it might be a little bit of some type of bad word might come out. So I'm just getting my producer ready just in case, because something might fly off.
Really, it all depends. You know what I'm saying? It's I mean, I'm just saying, for
Doing
me,
Dutch is not a common thing. Doing Dutch is
friends I have, like, it go back and forth.
Know anything about paying their halves when friends go out on dates? Does anybody know about
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very common.
So why, if you go on a date with somebody, why they don't have to pay their half? Y'all not together.
Because for me, it's more so
What's the
about
theory
buying
behind
peace.
this?
Man.
Take a
For
minute.
me,
Not
it's
about
more
buying
so.
peace.
You buying peace, all right? You buying the pieces.
So you heard this right here. You guys just heard the question. So Aaron just said, like, if we're going out on a date, pretty much, why isn't she paying her half? Roscoe, 40 years married, sir. What do you have to say about that?
Well, there was I don't think we ever Dutch dated, which that's the old-fashioned term for her paying her way and I pay mine. There was a couple of times when she paid both our ways. Now, I'm not going to lie about that because, as I said, I didn't make that much money back in the day, and she knew that.
Wait,
And
Roscoe,
again,
starting off, you guys are dating?
yeah, this is back when we were dating.
Got you.
And again, sometimes I just didn't have the money to go out, and she would take, pick up the tab and all like that. And I didn't see anything wrong with it because, like I say, we were developing a relationship and all like that, getting to know each other, find out if we wanted to be together. And
wait, say that again. Wait, I want you to say something real quick again. You said y'all were finding out whether what?
Finding out whether or not we wanted to be together.
Boom.
And that can only be accomplished if you hang with each other, whether it's out on watching a movie, going out for dinner, or just sitting by the side of the river, going fishing or something like that. And I don't really see anything wrong with it. But as far as I think I saw one comment here in the chat about a guy said something to the effect of, if both pay half, it's not really a date, it's just hanging out together. And I gotta differ with that. I mean, if that's the way they want to go, the woman might feel like, I don't want to owe him anything right now. And so, and if she insists on paying her way, God bless her. I mean, it's freedom. She can do what she wants. But in my opinion, yeah, the guy needs to take, he wants to date a girl, pay the way. Now, if they come out with this list of stuff where, 6 figures and all like that, you got to have in your bank account and all like that we talked about earlier, I'd say buy fee is so fast the door wouldn't even open. Because relationships are not about that. I mean, if that is what either the male or female in the relationship thinks, it's not going to work out because you're already stating what you want. You want money. You want security. Well, money and security ain't always there. Even for people that have the 6 figures and all like that, can you say the stock market falling out, losing all your stocks and bonds and all like that? But one day they're worth $500,000. Next day they're worth a nickel a share. You've lost everything. What happens then? Does the woman that demanded 6 figures, does she up and leave him? A good woman won't. A good woman will not, and a good man will not leave the leave the woman if the shoe is on the other foot. Not if there's true love there. Okay, because you got to stick together. You got to hang together and make things work somehow or another. And like as I said over the years, my wife and I managed to do that. And we're not rich by any stretch of the imagination. There is not even in my bank account, there's not even 3 figures in there. But we make it, and through you got trials and tribulations every day and all like that, but it's worth it for when the good stuff comes. When the smiles happen and everybody hangs together, pulls together, and all like that. That makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, and I think that's what's being lost, and that's not the focus there. I mean, right from the jump, foundationally, you coming in already is all about material stuff and money. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the relationship? But before I even get my thoughts on that, I'm gonna take it to Mr. Sean again. Mr. Sean, what do you think about that? Where the expectations of these women getting ready to go on a date, and these men are saying, if I'm getting ready to go on a date with a girl, in today's generation, they're saying it's like she's expected to pay her half, I'm expected to pay my half. Like there's no question. What do you think?
Okay, now I'm 50, and this is my second marriage. We will be married 11 years here this May.
Nice.
Coming up here. Yeah, and I knew her in high school. We were best of friends. We could talk about anything. We could talk about belly button lint for 4 hours. I'm not kidding you. It's just how it was. And we still like that. But we went separate ways, because I went in the service and we lost track of each other. But we came back together. The biggest thing that I will say here to the young men that are listening here, in order for you, before you even get to that point where you're worrying about who's paying what, you need to vet this situation out a bit, because you need to find out what's going on with her. So here's the biggest thing. If this person decides to send you some spicy photos, tell her, no, send me pictures of your medicine cabinet. I want to know what kind of crazy I'm dealing with first. That is an absolute fact. And it should be the same way on the opposite side of things, guys. If you're sending them kinds of picked out, first of all, you're wrong. Send her your medicine cabinet. Know how crazy you are up front, because just get that out of the way. Second thing is that if you are going into a situation and you were worried about who's paying what, really good point. I've watched this and I agreed with this guy. I don't remember his name. Forgive me. When you're going out to eat, if you have a lady that is not willing to offer to say, hey, look, let me pay my half. I would really like to take care of that. I'm not trying to sit there and put things out there. Then if she doesn't do that, she was taught wrong. But at the same time, because you invited her out to the date, you wanted to go there and you don't offer to pay the whole thing, you were taught wrong. So it's got to be the gestures on both sides, because if you're going to go out to eat and she's always expecting you to pay, would you want your best friend to sit there and say, hey, let's go out and just eat all the time and you pay for it? Because isn't it about being with your best friend? Just like Roscoe was saying, you are trying to see if you're going to be a good fit together. Is this going to be a long-term thing? Can I find out, is my best friend going to be around? If the floodwaters hit and we lose our house, the fires come, a tornado, you haven't even thought about the simplest of things yet, and you're worried about, all these things. What about a natural disaster? And then how are you two going to come together on that one? This is a real deal. Marriage is not just about, hey, let's get hookup culture going and whatnot. I mean, I've talked to a couple ladies because I do pastoral counseling here, and I've heard them say things like they're just dating for money. You need to bail on that if you're not having those conversations up front. Be real with each other. Talk.
Right.
And communication is the only way you are going to have any relationship, not even just like marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend kind of thing going on. No, if you can't even have a decent conversation with your bros or family, you don't even need to be putting one foot out there into a restaurant with anybody. You need to be working on you to get your head firmly out of, where, and get that thing taken care of. So again, really, it's a very simple thing, but it does come down to put your heart forward in the right way as to, I just want to know, is this really a good fit? Roscoe's absolutely right. 100%.
That's good. I like that right there. And what I like about it is that, when you guys, what you guys are saying right now makes a whole lot more sense, because you're saying that, okay, after some time you guys are getting to know each other, and like Roscoe mentioned, they apparently he and his wife for 40 years now, when they were first dating, apparently they've talked, because he said, there were times where we went out and I didn't have it, so I'm pretty sure he was telling her, if she said, hey, you want to go out and do such and such, he'd be like, well, I don't mind doing it, but I'm just letting you know I can't do it right now because I don't get paid until next week. And if she said, oh no, don't worry about it, I got it. Now, see, I get that. I completely get that right there. And if anything, that's already showing some great qualities out of her anyway, as a future wife, saying, hey, if stuff go down, that means she might be the type that's willing to actually go and say, hey, well, we're struggling right now, so I'll go get a part-time job. You already kind of seeing that out of her naturally already. But dude, and today again, man, Mr. Lay Jones, what do you think about that, man? What do you think about them already going to relationships saying, hey, I'm taking this girl out and I'm not paying for nothing, she paying for it. And matter of fact, I can't show it right now.
I agree with both of these gentlemen. I do, to a certain point. Okay. Now, I live down here in the mountains of Western North Carolina. So I'm about daggone country. Okay. And I was raised, a woman don't pay for nothing, but times have changed. Times have changed. Okay. Now, if I could take my girlfriend out for a date, I'd go get a can of damn Vienna sausage or potted meat and some crackers, and we go fishing. I mean, as long as we was spending time together and connecting, okay? What's happening in this world now is all this social media stuff where they look at what other people's doing and they say, oh, I want that. Well, you know what? Live in your own hemisphere. It's called love. It's called friendship. It's called trust. When you hook up with a girl and you're thinking about marrying her, all them three things come into play. And it was true back then, it is now, but you got to have that darn trust, and it's not being on what's going on social media and what all these other people are doing. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one. And if you can make that connection of one-on-one, then nobody can separate that. Nobody can. And I don't know. I guess I'm just from the old school, and I guess I'm just a damn darn dinosaur. If my woman wants to go out and work, more power to her. But if she don't want to, it's my job. It's my job. I'm the man of the house. I take care of the wife. I take care of the family. I take care of everything. That's just me.
Can I interject one thing real quick, Ty?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, one thing I have to say that it's really well said about what you just said there, Lay. I really do agree a lot with that, because it is, and this is the thing, is we have these conversations about equality. Okay, let me flip this just slightly here. I want the term to be looked at a little bit differently, mutuality, because there's reciprocation in that. Because just like you said, if she doesn't want to work, okay, so she's taking care of the house, everything's going on. But at the same time, let's take that a step further. If she falls down, gets hurt, something's bad, you're the one who has to pick her up because that's your best friend, and vice versa. You're supposed to be best friends. You're absolutely right. I couldn't disagree with that if I tried. Anyway, that's all I want to say.
But you know what? When it comes down to it, and like I said, I'm just country, okay? But and I know you're going to get a lot of feedback on this right here, but there was a time when a man took care of his family and his kids, and the woman took care of the house and raised the kids and did all that. Times have changed, and where it's changed is the
Lay cut out.
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. Phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can call the show at that number, and you can also text the show at that number. If you would like to see me live in the studio where I can interact with you and you interact with me, go onto YouTube, type in the Modern Renaissance Man in the search area. When you see that thumbnail of me being in the studio, click on the thumbnail and you will see me in the studio looking right at you. Hello. And with that being said, folks, you guys heard the conversation that was going on here about the dating. And before we took the break, we was there with Mr. Lay Jones, and we're just going to let him continue on about this whole ordeal with taking a woman on the first date and just the information that he was expounded upon. Lay Jones, you got the floor, sir.
Well, I'm just saying, and that was back in the days, a woman was a housewife. She was the mother, she was the wife. But I understand times have changed and women go out and work. But there's a lot of women that don't have to work. The man makes enough. And so you got a man going and working, you got a woman going to work. Who's raising the kids? Who's teaching them? Who are they spending time at home together and teaching them character and morals and all that right there? I mean, no, they're dependent on social media to teach their kids. And you know what? I'll just say this flat out. What's wrong with this country is people are not standing up for their beliefs and going and voting and standing up in churches and everywhere else, county commissioner meetings and, board of education meetings, and not standing up for what they think is right. That's what's wrong with this country. It ain't the government, it's the people.
Completely agree with you on that one, sir. I'm gonna take this thing over to Mr. Dante, and I'll go to Mr. Reckless Ray after this. Mr. Dante, you've been hearing everything that's been said, man. What do you think about the whole ordeal? I mean, I don't know if you heard about this whole new thing with the modern man and the modern woman and the expectations. Do you think that right there is going to actually be even more worse of a detriment to relationships and marriages?
Yes, sir. I definitely do. I want to say I will listen to everybody talking, and I think there's been a reversal, where they have the women acting like men and the men acting like women. I believe that men have been effeminized and women have been masculinized. They've been more masculine. And I want to say, Steve Harvey, thank you, because you said you want the women to, act like a woman and think like a man. I'll be honest with you. Being a person that came from the LGBTQ community, I don't want to date a woman, and the woman I'm about to marry, I don't want her thinking like me. I don't want her thinking like me. I want her to think like a woman. I want her to carry herself as a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I want her to let me be the man. So I think a lot of times what we have now, we have the hip hop whores and the, housewives of whoever whores, and you have the, Kardashians and everything that we see. It's a false reality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're making all this money and they want to be independent, but then when they need to be protected, they want us men to stand up and be men for them. You can't have it both ways. So me personally, if I go on a date with a woman, I'm paying. That's just the way I was raised. I feel like if a woman and I are living together, I'm paying the bills, the majority of the bills. If she want to pay something minor, like the water bill, something very small, she want to pay that, cool. But as far as, making her put all that on her back, I don't think that's right. And so when I was listening to the video where the guy was like, well, we go on a date, she got to pay half. Where they do that at? I really feel like as a man, you're the stronger vessel. You can't use it. I'm the man, but then we're going on a date, I want you to pay half. Where they do that at? I don't understand that. So as a man, I want to have a helpmate. You know what I'm saying? That if I get in a bond, my wife is a virtuous woman. She got stuff stacked up just in case I get in trouble. She got my back. But I don't want a woman that thinks she's as strong as me. I don't want a woman to think like me, because I don't think like a woman. I think like a dude. I'm a man. I want to go out there and play in the grass and do stuff in the yard and, cut trees and stuff. I don't want my woman out there being more masculine than me. I don't want to Leah Thomas. I think that's one of them transformers that swim. I don't want that in my life. You know what I'm saying? So again, we just have to go back to the basis where we was trained, where a man is a man, he leads, a woman is a woman, she follows, and just about being submissive don't mean being weak. That doesn't mean being weak. It just means that, hey, you know your role, I know my role, and we don't reverse those. I think that society and everything else goes a lot smoother.
Nice. Wow, man. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. And all these points you guys are giving, it's just to me, like I said, I'm gonna do this one day where you guys all be able to come up with some of these guys that come with these ideas, because it's a lot of things that they articulated to me that I'm telling you, it just made me think to myself, like, what is going on in y'all lives? And like, who are these women, y'all? I'm just saying, I'm in the medical field, and I'm just trying to think to myself, who is it that are in their 20s that's already making 3 figures in your 20s? I mean, if you go to some school, you go into stocks and bonds, you learn how to do some trading and all. I get that a little bit, but I'm thinking to myself, and I'm just being real, because a lot of folks gonna get mad at this one, especially the Jezebels coming out of the hood. Black women particularly, they are really being pushed to say, girl, if this man ain't making 6 figures and don't waste your time with him. And guess who is the most single and the most divorced? They are. Right now, they will say, no, you're not right. No, Ty, you're not right. But I'm like, wait, I've been married how long? 21 years. You've been married how long? Oh, I'm not married yet. How old are you? I'm almost 40. And but I'm wrong though. You know what I mean? So I want to get a Reckless Ray opinion on this right now, man. What do you think about the modern woman and the modern man that they're? I know you heard this because I've seen you on some of these panels.
Yep. I'm about to hurt some feelings. First of all, for Dante, what does it take to make a man? I just want a quick, succinct answer. What does it take to make a man?
You asking Dante?
Yep.
He might have stepped away. He went mute. Oh, there you go.
Okay, my bad. So can you repeat the question for me?
What does it take to make a man?
What makes a man is, one, being born a male. Number one, let's not confuse it. Number two is being able to be a leader. You're the stronger vessel. So I believe as being a man, you conduct yourself as such. You're
giving me qualities. You're not telling me what it takes to make one.
What it takes to be a man is, one, is not being so sensitive. not being so butthurt.
That's a quality also.
Okay, so what do you? I mean, I don't know exactly what you're asking.
Okay, so that's what I was looking for. So the issue is we live in this society where we can live in these silos of, well, this would be great and this is what we need to do. The reality of the situation is it takes a man to make a man. Bar none. You are groomed by a man to become a man. You don't just come up with this stuff on your own just because you have a penis. That's the first issue. Most men are born into single mother households with no male influence. So where are these men coming from? These great men, these good salt of the earth men. Where are they being made? They're going into a school system that's also run where they are raising men, young boys, like defective girls. Where are the men coming from? So that's my first thing. So first of all, you're getting very few actual men coming through. And I see it all the time. These guys come out of these school systems completely neutered, basically worthless, scared to raise their heads. Leia was saying specifically that we needed to stand up. How do you stand up if you've been raised as a defective girl your entire life and then released into adulthood with the expectation that you're going to be a man? So that's my first thing is like, first of all, we're going to scrap this whole idea that there's a bunch of men out there because there aren't a bunch of men out there. There are a bunch of grown-aged boys. That's what's currently in these dating markets. A lot of these panels, you see grown-aged boys. They don't have a plan. They have no trajectory. They hear talking points from other men and go, I want that, because of course, as a man, you do. But you have to be a man to get a woman. First issue. Second issue, those of you who have been married for 40 years, congratulations. That is beautiful and I love it. The issue is when you guys got married, there wasn't Tinder. There wasn't right swiping. There wasn't Instamate, where you can just conjure up a mate, someone to have sex with at any given time, at any point during the day. Your wives did not see what they could have potentially had. You weren't coming up in a era where you were actively having to compete with literally everyone else on this planet, where your wife could get flown out. She didn't have those options. So you can't, so we're not dealing with the same woman even, because women have more opportunities for sexual encounters than men do, period, even ugly ones. Like, I'm dead serious, bro. Like, it's the truth. You can go through a chick that you wouldn't call until 3 a.m, and her DMs are full. So they have all the options. So that's the second thing. So it's a different woman that we're dealing with. So we can't. I understand that you guys are going from a singular point of reference, but like if you're out of the game, congratulations and be happy you're out, because it's a different animal out here. These are different beasts than what you had to deal with, because the sheer abundance was not there. The other issue, these men who are salt of the earth men that are good men know that they're invisible now. That's the second issue. They know that they're getting circled back to after this chick's been out running the streets, getting run down by everybody that she wanted to hook up with that's fun, but isn't stable. And then they're coming back with kids and baggage and trauma. And you know what? These men that they're coming back to aren't their first choice. And the issue in today with today's women is she will make that second choice pay every day of the rest of his life until she's ready to leave him with half his stuff, because he's not the first choice. There's like a whole YouTube sphere on starter marriages and how to navigate those so that you get the most out of it. Then you can go find the guy that you want to be with some other man footing the bill for it. So that's where a lot of these talking points are coming from. But these women actually exist out there. I know, because I've been out there. And I've got my shit together. I'm part owner of a business. I own my own house. I have no debt. I own my car. My shit's together. You are coming into my life.
So
if you are with me.
Reckless. So then, okay. So yeah, this is why I'm glad that you came on here, so you can give that point of view right there. Because like I said, I told him earlier, I said I can't articulate all the points that those guys were telling me about, but I was like, So in other words, you are a kid in a candy store, and it's so hard to choose. So you don't want to pick your favorite candy. You want to eat all of it, taste all of it, before finally just saying, "Hey, I just want this piece right here." That's what I'm saying. It's like to me, it's so much, and like you said, it's so much of an abundance. That's why some guys like the one I had on, like Cheeky. He's a good guy, which is, he's still a virgin. That is awesome. I still sit there and say to myself, like, dude, like, man, what in the world are y'all dealing with? Because like you said, you can just DM, and if y'all don't know it, for the older folks, if y'all don't know this, I'm just saying there's no discrimination. DM means direct messaging. They can direct message somebody. They can send them a message. Hey, you want to hook up tonight? Go do X, Y, and Z. Versus at my time, this stuff was all starting. I'm 40. So I was around where we just had Oregon Trail, then it went from a floppy disk to a zip drive to a flash drive. I got to sit there and experience and get to see how we developed to where we are right now. So I got to get my wife when technology is just getting to the point where we had like the chat rooms, and you had like MySpace is starting to become a thing. But now, not only that, but like to his point, to Reckless point, there are people out there competing with these Instagram models and with these Instagram male models and stuff like that. And then it's almost like, well, so it's like, how do you find this woman? Not saying that they're not out there, but now these women that might be considered good women who are modest. There might be good men out there that got their stuff together. They are good, gentlemanly, modest men, but they're being overlooked by all the dang on Instagram models who don't even want a relationship. They just want to have sex and stuff like that. So nobody is there. So pretty much they're discouraged. Like, man, I really can't get married. I can't find no marriage because they're not out there. Even though they are, but they can't find it because they're all being overshadowed by the Instagram models and the Instagram male models. So that's why I was like, dude, like, what? So this might sound weird. I like a few of them. I just said, bro, I guess the best thing I can tell you, go old school, go to church. Like, go. I'm just saying, go and attend church or something, and at least go in there, become a good person with the intentions on your mind of finding you a wife. Because still to this day, because we counsel people, that those good women and those good men are there. Now I know people say, no, I shouldn't have to go to church. I know that you shouldn't have to go to church to find a good woman or a good man, but that's where they're hanging out at on a physical level. Because if you go to Tinder and Cupid and all that, man, bro, especially as being men, let's keep it real. You go on Tinder and you see every piece of candy that you want to, and you telling me I don't have to necessarily get with this girl, no strings attached. We can just actually meet up somewhere, and literally they're saying you pay your half, I pay your half, and we can just have a good night of passion, and then it's a rip. So a lot of them like, so what's the point of me trying to find a relationship and get married and I got all this candy? And that's to me. And what happens though is that when they get to a certain age where they want to settle down, then that's when like the so-called values that they want out of a woman and out of a man, they're like, well, I want a woman who hasn't been around the block. I want a man that hasn't been around the block. But it's like, you do know that in this time, with all the exchanges of Cupid and DMs and all that, almost everybody been around the block. So you're not going to find it. So it seems like it's setting up a whole lot of, I say perception can become greater than reality. So it's almost like they're setting up a false reality that's not going to have, you're not going to find that perfect man. You're not going to find that perfect woman that hasn't been around the block or something like that, because everybody seems to be playing this social media game. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Who heard, thank you, sir.
Well, you could say that, but the issue is, it's not that everybody hasn't been around the block. I don't sit out here and think that the woman that I end up marrying is going to be a virgin and going to not have been out there. But I don't want to know.
What they call it, body counts. They say, well,
I just don't want to
body
know
counts.
about it. Now, if I know, and so like that's the crux of it is. And one of the other things I wanted to point out was like a lot of the dudes that you're talking to that are saying they have all these options are also paying for it. And I feel that if you pay for it, then that's the equivalent. That's the same reason that I wouldn't date someone who is a sex worker. Their interaction with the opposite sex is transactional. So now you look at everything like that. Like, you don't turn that off. It never turns off. So like once you start paying to play, then you're looking at everybody as though they are I got to pay for this. So like, how are you going to even be able to identify a good woman if your frame of reference is, I pay to get it anyway? Like, you're not going to be able to create or establish any type of trust or any type of relationship, because you're literally dealing with like the crust of the bottom of the barrel. And that's your interaction with women. It's the same thing as the reason you can't go out and I wouldn't recommend anyone go out and try to say, for instance, a stripper. Her interaction with men is that she's a piece of meat. How do you get past that barrier and have her actually trust you and fall into her femininity? You can't. It doesn't turn off, because every man that she interacts with on a regular basis for however long she's at work, so just assume an 8-hour day, is you're a piece of meat, you're a piece of meat, you're a piece of meat every day, and then you're going to come in and like try to be the nice guy. She's going to run all over you. You're never going to ring that in. You're always going to have a potential liability. So like, depending on the angle that you're coming from, like, Cheeky is a stand-up dude. Like, I respect the heck out of him for what he's chosen to do. But to the candy store analogy, very good analogy. Difference being is women get to enter that candy store at 18. Their value, they're just given it. Every man on this panel is worth nothing until he's made himself into something. That's where our value comes from. So we get to enter the candy store at different times. Right? Like, I get to be, like, technically speaking, if I wasn't in a relationship right now, I'd be peak in the candy store.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for me to get women now than it ever was coming up, because I hadn't made shit of myself. Sorry for cussing. But
no, you good. You good.
I hadn't made anything of myself. So therefore, the only thing that I had going for me was that I was in a field where I got to be on stage with lights, which is a workaround for that. It gets you into the candy store a little bit earlier. But realistically, with nothing to back it up, you're in there temporarily, and then you get kicked out every so often, and you don't get to go back in for a little while. But most men don't hit their peak until their 30s. Like, you're starting to get your stuff together in your 30s. Like, oh, the work that you've done has started to show some fruition. And so, like, I tell men all the time, like, whenever I'm talking to young guys, you need to be grinding in your 20s. You are wasting time chasing women in your 20s because you're competing with me's. And women are fighting to get into my schedule, and I don't have time because I'm always working. So you're fighting an uphill battle. We have this ideology, and like the other thing that I heard on that panel, because I did go back and listen to it, is like, those guys want to be happy. They want to be. We're men. We do not get to be happy. Women get to be happy. We get to work. Which is why when you checked that dude and told him what women were looking for, he got so in his feelings, because he knew that wasn't him. And it hurts when you have to face that. When I was 25, I was in that same spot. And I remember distinctly, because I was like, why isn't this working? Why can't I get a woman to stay with me over a year? Why am I trying so hard to keep these women around that don't want to stay? And it's like, after about a year, they're starting to think about marriage. They're starting to think about if you're going to be able to perform those tasks. Because, like, then you're getting to the point where it's like you're taking that next step. And I wasn't a good bet. And that hurt in my soul. It hurt. But that was a blessing. That pain is a blessing. Every time you feel that pain, you do not go get pills for that. You work through it. You figure it out. And that's the reason. But that's the difference between a grown boy and a man. Because, like, it hurts and you got to fight through it. But once you know what the game is, it's like, okay, well, like, now you know how to play. Do what you got to do.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, it's amazing, and to what you just got done saying. And I tell people this all the time. I say, you know what? I say, like, what I do, and like you say, you're grinding, is that these so-called the high quality or high value women, these women, if they're around your work area and they see what you're doing, they get attracted to that. But then you got guys like you said, Cheeky is. I really like Cheeky is a really good dude, man, and it just makes you just like, man, like, you almost kind of feel sorry for them a little bit, like, because this is what they're having to deal with. Like you said, they want to be happy, they want to be this, but they're like, but if you cannot, I'm not going to be able to get this, I'm not going to be able to find this. And he mentioned, and then we went from that to, we went to that to talking about the women's temperament and their demeanor, where they were just like, I just want a woman that's just sweet. And in other words, them saying, like, I want a woman that's just tender, she's kind, she's sweet. I'm talking to the extent to where there's nothing against, no offense against white people, nothing like that. I'm talking to the extent to where the black men said, I want a black woman that hangs around white girls. And it's I get what they were saying, because they were saying they did not want like the attitude or even just the demeanor or the harsh tone. They want somebody that was lovely and sweet. I mean, and then here you got these grown men on here. When they start saying that, of course, you know, people took it serious and it's like, y'all just want y'all a white girl. No, see, you missed the whole point. They're talking about the temperament and the demeanor. And so what I was telling them, I said, you know, the people that I work around, my colleagues that are in the medical field as well, CEOs, I said, it's very funny that it seems like all of our wives all seem to have the same temperament. So the craziest thing that folks did, and it's just amazed me. Oh, okay, so your wife is white, isn't she? I'm like, no, my wife is not white. Oh, no. See, again, this one's saying they instantly they don't want to take in what I'm telling them, what is attracting what they call high value men, you know, good men. And I'm sitting there showing you that these doctors, these lawyers, these CEOs, and I'm saying that all of our wives seem to have the same type of temperament and everything like that. And the first thing you thought about over there, I bet you they all white. I was just like, that just amazed me. So, but no, man, you mean, that's why I said I'm glad that you was able to clarify that, Reckless Ray, because now some of the people that are on the panel right now get to hear exactly what we're talking about when it comes to
Ty, you still there, bro?
Ty?
Oh no. YouTube got him.
Oh, wow. Ty, you there?
YouTube got a hold of him, man. He's frozen.
Wow.
Okay, I've got a question.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a white woman. Why? What is the difference between a white wife and a black wife? I mean, I don't understand.
So can I take this one, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not married, but I'm gonna say this: women are just women. There is no difference fundamentally. Culturally, though, there's a little bit. Oh man, he's gone.
Yeah, we lost him, I believe. Go ahead and finish where you
Hold
said.
it down until we get back.
But women are inherently women. Culturally, what you have and what we deal with in regards to dealing with black women is we come from a culture where most of us grew up in single parent homes where it was just a woman. With that, you have a lack of respect for men, period, because they were all removed. So like now you have all these strong, independent warrior queens that had to do everything, right?
Yeah.
So they have a certain level of disdain because there's resentment about the situation that they were left in. And then you speak that around your child, they absorb that. And what you have really masculine women that don't respect men, and men who have been emasculated that are hyper emotional. So like when you look at the gang violence, if somebody steps on your shoes and you shoot them, are you in control of your emotions? Is that a masculine thing to do? No, it is not.
No.
That is a man who is out of control and having an emotional response he has no control over. Adult age boy. It's a temper tantrum for an adult.
Oh, wow.
That's the dynamic of like what you're dealing with from a societal perspective. And I know because I came up in a single parent household, but my mother was a detective. So
Hey, Reckless, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
And I'm being totally serious here. I'm not being an asshole or anything, but what is the difference between a white woman raising a white child with no man versus, a black woman raising a black boy or black male without a man in the house? What is the difference? Because when I was in law enforcement, I arrested a hell of a lot damn more white boys, white kids, than I did black kids. I mean, so I've always wondered, I've always wondered that because the white moms were never as forceful or as the black moms, but I arrested more white kids than I did black kids.
So there's a couple of reasons. There's literally more white people than black people, like a lot more. So that could be part of the variable.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I mean, where I live at, the ratio's pretty damn something. I just don't understand. I was arresting more white kids than I was black kids. I mean, I don't understand.
It really depends on the culture of the area. I mean, I don't think there's a difference at all, because you're not going to have, if you don't have that male figure in the home
on both sides. On both
either
sides.
side. Like, I don't think that's race specific. I don't think you're going to have a single. The thing is this: when I was growing up, I grew up very integrated because of my mom's profession.
Right.
And so the area that we lived in, I lived in the suburbs. We were one of two black families. I didn't see any white kids who had a single parent. I was the only kid who had a single parent. Like, even the other two black families. Once we got like 3 black families in the neighborhood, 2 of them, the dads were there. It was just me. But like, as I got older, I started like when I went back to public school.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I am.
Yeah, I mean, don't be. I mean, I was raised strong. Like, I'm a very strong individual. Like, she went out of her way to make sure, because she understood that I had male figures in my life at all facets, whether it was a sports coach or.
Thank God you had male figures. Thank God.
Yeah. So, I mean, she did what she needed to do because she saw the deficit. The issue is a lot of women now don't, because you see them talking about how they don't need no man. Now, what I would say is, in that same scenario, depending on how that also, the one other thing that I'll add was, I did not grow up in a household where my mother ever uttered the words, which is in the black community, I'm going to keep it PC since we're on this panel, and I don't know if Ty's going to use this later, but like, in a lot of black households where it's a single mom, you hear the N-words ain't shit.
I don't like that word. I never want to hear that word.
So like, I grew up in a household, they never spoke bad about men in the household that I was in, period. None of the women in my family, and when I was growing up, ever talked bad about men. I never heard a disparaging word in regards to men, period.
That's a blessing.
So that's
a blessing.
But like, I think either way, you're going to have a bad outcome. Like, you can look at the statistics. There's statistical data that shows that a young boy raised by just a mother is more likely going to become a criminal. They build jails, and they build jails based on that demographic alone. That's how they decide where they're building their jails.
You know what, Reckless? A lot of people, they used to get mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my own family, when a mother was more powerful than the man in the house, or even if they wasn't a man in the house, I would used to always say this. I'd say, until you knock him off your tit, he ain't going to be a man. Now, I'm sorry. I said that.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's the truth. And that's the way I was raised. Until you knock him off he is not going to learn to be a man.
Right. You're 100% correct.
It's true.
Yeah, the truth of that definitely
There's
comes down to
there's
when I was 18. I had to leave the house. I ran to the military to get out of the house. My mother's Canadian. And so her style of upbringing is, well, I should say was, because she naturalized as an American, very socialistic. Let's say it that way. I had to run away from the house to get my head right, because I just could not say.
You know what, Sean? In 1977, I was 12 years old. My mother died of cancer in 77.
Right.
And my dad married again that same year, and I had a stepmother. In 1981, 82, when I graduated high school, I had a choice to go for a partial basketball scholarship, or I could go work at the local paper mill that my dad had already secured me a job because he was a foreman there on a paper machine. And I looked at him and I said, I'm going in the United States Army. And I spent 18 years in the United States Army. And then after that, I spent 14 years as a local police officer. And my whole life's been about giving to this country and giving my local community. And that, I guess that's why I get so ticked off sometimes with everything that's going on, because I've been down there. I was raised country. I've been around the world a little bit, and I have zero tolerance for people that don't stand up for what's right. I have zero tolerance, and that means the first thing, and I'll say this, the first thing is the Holy Bible. The first thing is the Bible. If you don't want to uphold that, I ain't got a whole lot of sympathy for you. I don't.
Amen.
Well, and the thing is that when I ran, though, to the service, it's because my mother sheltered me a lot. I mean, it was to the point where don't fight, don't do that, I couldn't even stand up for myself. I ended up getting this lovely little knot here on my nose from 6-on-1 fight, and I was the one. But that was when I snapped and realized that things were wrong. That was the time I realized that things were wrong, when I could not defend myself from a situation of bullies. And all it was is that the guys were sitting there harassing my girlfriend at the time, and I told the guy to F off, go away, leave her be, just trying to be a decent, upright dude for her.
Yeah.
And then they got in my face and they got all their buddies. And by the way, gangs does stand for a great acronym. It's gutless a-holes needing group support. So you can take that how you feel. But it's so true. And the thing is that, so they got 6 of them together and they quartered me in a gymnasium area and, beat the tar out of me. But after that, I just lost my mind. I snapped. And then I went after the main guy that did it. Not anybody else. I went after the main guy that did it. And then after that, I was left alone from high school period on. Nobody wanted to mess with me because they knew that I just, I'm not willing to sit there and take it anymore.
Yeah. Well,
But
you know what? You look at what, you look at what, and I ain't getting religious or nothing, but you look at what Jesus did. I mean, you look at what Jesus did. He said, you know what? I'll save you, or I'll burn you I'll turn you into a pillar of salt. Mess with me. I dare you. I dare you.
But it was at that point, though, that I realized her teachings that she was trying to push into my head were not working. As Reckless said, it takes a man to make a man. It does. And my father, unfortunately, was pretty much beat up mentally and abused by his mom and dad, to where verbally he just was emasculated so terribly. I mean, at 17, he was given a choice on his birthday by his father. Here's $30 and a bus ticket out of town, or you're joining the Navy. I mean, this kid was just destroyed, kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And part of it, long story is that because the fact that his grandfather didn't pine for his mom's mom, his grandmother, his mother looked at him as like the worst thing possible. Now he was redheaded and left-handed, and then my father, once he hit 4, he saw that he was left-handed and he had red hair. Sins of the father on her own child, twisted mentality that is. You can imagine the whole pattern of abuse that went on with that. So I didn't really have a father at the time who could actually teach me how to be a man. But I saw men that actually were great role models. I'd been to church camps. I've been doing everything I could to, express, find out who I was, because I wasn't getting it from my mom, because she just sheltered me like, it's like bubble wrap. And here I am 50 looking back at it going, I'm glad I joined the service because I realized what it took. Now, I will say this too, is that single motherhood thing that you were bringing up, Reckless, I really do agree with that, because unfortunately it's like, if you don't have a man to teach your boys how to be men and girls how to, understand after they hit 13, that independence, how to be a good lady, what a man should be doing for them, then you're going to have the correctional departments teach your boys how to be men.
Exactly. Somebody will discipline them.
And you know what? I guess I'm in a bubble here in the mountains of Western North Carolina, but I've got a country way of thinking, and right's right, wrong's wrong. I mean, I can't get over that. I'm sorry. I've been halfway around the world and I come back and I still can't get over right, wrong, wrong. I mean, I can't wrap my head around this younger generation. I can't. I mean, the only thing I can blame it on is their parent and social media. That's the only thing I can blame it on, because I cannot deal. To me, you're either a man or you squat to pee. It's that darn simple. A man takes care of his family and his kids, period. I don't give a shit if your wife can work. If she wants to work, that's fine. But when it comes right down to it, a man takes care of his family and his kids, and he teaches them, and he raises them, and he holds them accountable. I'm sorry. I mean, if I'm a dinosaur, I'm a dinosaur. But right, wrong, I don't squat to pee. So it's that simple.
It's fine. Ray. The big. Oh, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
I was going to say. So I'm looking. I actually pulled the chat up. So there's a comment in here about Lay being from an older generation and not crying. And I just I had a couple of things I wanted to say, because one of them references back to something that Lay said, where he was talking about the men who blatantly weren't running their house, and him saying something. And the one thing that I had to say in reference to that was, the only way a queen is above a king is if she has drug him down.
Amen.
And this whole, oh, you guys can't cry BS is part of the problem. As soon as they started interjecting mental health onto men to make them function like women, we have problems. Every time you see one of these jerk-offs that shoots up a school or goes and harms a bunch of women, and then they say it's because of toxic masculinity, those aren't the strongest of us. No. Those men couldn't stand in a room with me. Those men couldn't sit next to Lay. Those men couldn't sit on this panel.
Well, you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup, you bunch of goddamn, dipping your butt in a damn tub of damn crock butter. Suck it up, Buttercup. Get out there, and you know what? Instead of using a weed eater, get a pair of scissors and trim the.
Yeah, I completely understand.
No.
But it does come back to that. Reckless is right on this on some of these points, because it's true. They injected the mental health issues, and that was when it came out that we had to talk about our feelings, make it so that it was a softer approach. But yeah, no, and exactly. I'm not disagreeing with you, because honestly, the truth is, and you and I can agree with this, because you're looking at the traditional man values. That's the things that I've been gumming back to, trying to.
You keep it inside and you deal with it and you man up.
Because nobody's going to care at the end of the day. Not
yes,
one person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only you are going to be able to care for you. And if you can't do that, you are going to fail every time. Every time.
Exactly.
So,
that's what made every man used to have a set of Canucks.
Yeah.
Stand up for what you believe in. Damn, what happened?
Well, this is what gets me. Okay, I'm going to talk on a woman's perspective. I myself.
Let me ask you something before you speak there, ma'am.
Yes.
Would you like to have a man that had a set of Canucks and would take care of you, and you didn't have nothing to darn worry about, because you knew that no matter what ever happened, he would be there for you and your kids? Or do you want somebody out there who's going to say, you need to get your ass out there and get a job?
Well, that's what I was leading to, brother. I want a man that is a man. I don't want one of these little sissy soy boys that they got running around. And I raised my girls to get a man, not a little sissy. I told them, I said, I do not care how much they make. They can make $2 a damn hour. Excuse my language. As long as they're good to you and y'all have kids and they treat them kids right and they teach them kids right from wrong, and by golly, that's what we need. I don't care.
It don't matter if you dig a ditch or if you're Tesla. Okay, it don't matter if you dig a ditch or whatever. If you're happy and you're treating your wife good and you're providing for your kids and you're treating them right and you're building character and morals and everything, it don't matter if you're making $2 an hour or if you're making $400,000. It don't matter.
That's right.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, we're all going to die, and none of this means nothing because this is God's country. God owns everything.
Exactly. But
Hate to
like I
cut it
told
short,
them,
folks,
I
but I
said,
gotta go.
I don't care.
All
See
right.
you later, Sean.
God bless to all of you. I'll be praying for every one of you. And for Ty, if you come back, God bless you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Hey,
Y'all take care.
sorry if I was a little bit abrupt.
Oh, no. Oh, Lay, I also, too, come from the country. I just don't sit there and I can't talk about a man who's obviously got more experience on it because actually I think that'd be kind of rude. I was raised right, you know.
No, I'm sorry.
Not at all, sir. Not at all. I was in Missouri, Iowa area. I kind of get it. You know, my accent isn't as thick as yours, but you know what? I do get it. I understand. So, all right.
Nice.
Anyway, God's blessings to every one of y'all. I do
You
love
too,
every one of
Sean.
y'all. And thank you again, Ty, so much for this opportunity. Y'all take
Yeah,
care. We'll
thanks,
talk soon.
Ty.
You have a good
Thank
one,
you.
Sean.
Thank you.
Sean,
See you
have a
later,
good one.
Sean.
Bye-bye, Sean.
Thank you, Rick.
But, you know, I raised my daughters and I raised my son. Well, my sons. One took to the raising pretty good. The other one, well, we're not even going to go there. But anyway, I raised them that you work for what you want. You don't expect for a handout, nothing like that. And to raise my daughters the same way. The only person, I'm going to tell you what my daddy told me. I was raised in Oklahoma. I still live here. I bought my daddy's land. My daddy said the only person you can actually depend on in your life is you and God. That's the only people that you can depend on. I want you to learn everything. I want you to learn
You're
everything.
exactly right because you know what? When it comes right down to it, your family and friends will screw you quicker than a stranger.
Amen, brother. Anyway, my daddy said, you learn everything you can learn and you learn it on your own that you can do. This is me. I'm the person that not only did I learn healthcare, I learned law. Not only did I learn law, I learned how to lay flooring. I worked for a flooring place. I did all sorts of.
I'd love to meet you. I'd love to meet you.
When me and my husband got together, when I was working, I was helping my dad. He seen me in the hayfield on a tractor. It embarrassed me to death because I wasn't dressed up. I didn't have no war paint on. And he pulled up in the pasture that I was baling hay.
That was the best look you ever had. I guarantee it.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said, when I first met you, he said, I thought you was one of them superficial girls because you always had your nails done, your hair done. I said, I was working out in public. I said, it's a completely different thing when I'm working at home.
Hell, I'm married now, and hell, I'd marry you just knowing that you can do that on a damn tractor. Shit, I'll just come out there and watch it. I'll buy a ticket.
Well, I'm getting old now. I've had a stroke and everything else. So.
Well, hell, I've had a stroke. I've had a hip replacement. I had my damn spine, fused together. I mean, shit, you know what? I should be in an old junkyard, but they don't do them no more. So.
Well, I've got 2 new parts this year. I've had both knees replaced.
See, now we're right there. We're right there.
But I don't understand what was talking about on the marriage. I don't understand these girls.
I know.
That they have to have. No, you have to have a man that is good to you, that treats you good, that you can feel good about treating him good. You know,
most of them make money.
So it's natural though. It's because it's a natural thing. There's not a I mean, I understand it. It makes sense from a psychological perspective. Like, women are hypergamous by nature, which means that, like, before social media and everything else, women generally gravitated to getting like the best catch that they could at all points. So like the best man, the manliest man that they could get their hands on, everyone was swooning around him, and then he made the selection of who he wanted to marry. That's the way things have always worked. Once you expand that purview from like a few miles to the world, you get analysis paralysis because there's just so many men. So then what you have is you have a condensation of women going for the top 20% of men, and there's only a 20% of them, which renders all the other men invisible. And the example that I always give for this is if you walk into a McDonald's or pick your favorite fast food restaurant, do you scan the back of who's working behind that counter dipping the fries to see if there's a potential mate back there?
No.
As a woman?
Well,
No, they're
you know what?
invisible.
I want to ask all three of y'all a question, if you don't mind, and I want all three of y'all to respond to this.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there anything wrong with my old school thinking that a man is responsible for taking care of his wife, his family, earning the money, and protecting them, and just being the man of the house? I'm old school. I'm old school. Is there anything wrong with that?
I'll let
See,
the
I
other two
don't-
go first. I've got a long
I don't
answer,
see
so
anything
everybody else
wrong with it because